You're on the big screen on my side, so.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it works pretty good. Yeah, it works better than the other one, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and it probably helps having you got a new computer, you got new internet, you got all the
Oh,
toys
oh,
now.
oh, yeah,
You got
yeah.
all the toys
Yeah.
now, man.
And I got toys for Christmas. I got a camera stand,
Oh, nice.
and I got a little one here.
Well, what am I gonna
I
have
can
for?
put my phone in there and videotape. I can be a YouTuber just like you.
I gotta compete with you now on YouTube. Is that?
Well, you got to do something, and you don't do nothing else, you know.
Yeah, it's therapy. It's fun. Honestly, it really is.
Yeah.
It really is.
Mm.
Takes a while to get a following, but if you put out stuff that people like, they'll just come. It is what it is.
Oh,
They'll find you.
yeah. I don't know what I'm going to call it yet. I'll be wearing short pants all the time, so I'll just say the short pants beekeeper or something like that.
Yeah, your B&K Bees already has the bearded beekeeper. Yeah, you got the skinny man, you got the fat bee man, and so all those are taken. There's another one that's he's not the fat bee man, he's the fatter bee man or the I can't remember what the heck it
Oh
is.
yeah.
That's pretty funny
and,
stuff.
and then you got the bees and bikini girl.
I
I
never
got the.
I never saw that one.
Yeah, you never saw that one. I sort of met her through another chat that I was doing, and it's kind of funny. And it's like I never seen it, so I went and looked up her videos, and here she's wearing this funny suit on. It's a good thing I wasn't having my coffee. I would have spit my coffee out.
Oh,
uh,
that's too funny. Yeah, I
yeah,
don't know who's gonna come. Wayne said that he was.
yeah,
Um, Brad's not coming,
no,
unfortunately.
yeah.
But
Well, anything we know ain't really worth it. I was watching Bob Binney this morning, and he was talking about queens and stuff, and I said, "Yeah, that's right down your alley with bad queens you get. They pull them in too early."
yep, that's exactly it. And I mean, um, when I bought those from Strachan Apiary last year, those four, they were
Mm-hmm.
$35 a piece plus $65 shipping, and I got four of them. I mean, that's
Yeah.
$208, and none of them were laying. You know,
Mm.
the problem is that I didn't understand why they never got superseded.
Yeah.
I mean,
Probably didn't lay enough eggs to do it.
yeah, that very well could have been true, but that one was just wandering around. You would have thought that they would have just said, you know what, lady, you're out of here, and they didn't. Slowly but surely, like one would disappear, and another one would disappear, and
Yeah.
I never saw any supersede cells or anything like that, which was just wild.
Yeah.
And man, what a well, I mean, seriously, but yeah, I mean, that makes a lot of sense that you know they sell so many queens that they don't allow them to lay
Yeah.
for long enough. I mean that one chart showed something. What was it, like 15%?
Hmm.
If they've only been in the hive for 7 days,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
then they pull them like right when they start laying, they pull them. You get a
Yeah. I'm about ready to throw away my mini nukes that I made already.
throw them out. Well, no, I mean you can let them lay for 21 days in those things, or actually they don't have to lay for 21 days. They just have to be in that uh, in that mating nuke or whatever for 21 days. They don't really start laying till like
If I pull them and put them in a big hive and don't have them stop laying,
right.
that's probably the way to do it.
Yeah. Yep. And he said about that too. He said if you got a laying queen, he said that Steve Torbor had that 296 trials in a row. where they swap queens.
Oh, sure, yeah.
And
They all took.
and they all took every one of them.
Mm.
And brother Adam had already. I knew that already. You know.
Oh, yeah.
Remember?
I've done that already.
Well, what's his name? Uh, Mike Palmer had said in one of in his
Oh, yeah, I saw,
his
yeah.
show, and he talks about just taking them out and running them right in. You
Mm-hmm.
can do that because they're a laying queen. They have the pheromone and everything, but when they stop laying, that's when you have the issue.
Mm-hmm.
And if they don't lay long enough, they're not a mature queen, and that's why
They're
they get
not
superseded.
mature yet, yeah.
Yeah,
A lot of stuff like that.
but that didn't address uh, Bob Binney's video didn't really address it did address why they get superseded, but it didn't address like why they stopped laying weird, because he talked about leg damage and wing damage being
Oh,
issues,
sure,
or
yeah.
or pheromones changing, but he didn't really say like, well, they become sterile or
Oh,
whatever,
yeah.
spotty brood patterns.
Yeah, stuff like that can happen in shipping too, you know.
That can happen in shipping again.
Get in a hot spot for a little while, not kill it, but kill all the sperm, you know.
That's my
Mm.
nothing good comes out of California comment.
Yeah,
I mean, good lord. Yeah, I don't, but that's the thing too. There's no way for me to know how long that they were banked either.
yeah.
You know, I mean, they could pick
Yeah,
up all those queens and then have them sitting there banked,
I never had a,
and then
I never,
send
never
them out.
banked queen myself, so
Yeah,
I wouldn't know, wouldn't even know how to do it right.
right. I got these in the mail. Uh, they, this is a form of it's a form of banking, but I should probably put this in.
All those little curl pages.
Yeah,
Oh, sure, yeah.
you know. So
Yeah, that's have your virgins hatch out in there, then you can
yep,
put your virgins in.
yep, yep, absolutely. But here and this so this is like queen banking for virgins, obviously.
Yeah.
This one here, let me see, I got it. Oh, that's for banking mated queens, or well, silver. Actually, no, not mated, but well, you can bank
Oh, yeah.
mated queens, but you can do virgins as well in this one. It's just
Oh, is that a bigger cage?
it's
Hello.
yeah, it's
Hey guys.
16. Hey Wayne, it's 16. Holds 16 queen cells, but you can put the JZBZ on the top here, and they'll hatch out inside there, and then you can
Oh,
just
okay.
throw this in a frame in. You can take it out, set it in your incubator if you want, pull it out,
Mm.
take out a queen at a time, and put them in your mating nukes or whatever you want. Just a variation on a theme is really all it is,
Okay, yeah.
you know. But I saw Ryan had these in one of his videos, and I said, "Hey, that's pretty cool. I'm gonna check that out." So I bought one. How's Wayne?
Pretty good. It's a real nice day out today after got all kinds of new snow, so it covered up all the ugliness out there.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
You got snow today?
Yeah, about 3 inches.
No kidding.
But it's like 40 degrees out right now though. But
Oh,
so
I'm getting a lot of wind and snow up here too. So,
all I got
it's
here
going.
is a little mist and cold, and it's real windy and no snow, just a little mist, and it's 37 degrees. So no bees are flying or anything. It's not real nice out at all. Yesterday was gorgeous.
Oh yeah, yesterday was nice.
That was gorgeous. 50 something degrees, and the bees were out. I was talking to Wayne on the phone, and I set my phone next to the hive so you could hear all
They're loud.
the hum. Oh, yeah, this Facebook thing looks really good, actually.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Do you got this on your phone now? Working?
Me?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's on my phone. I don't think it worked on my iPad last
Oh,
time. I
okay.
think it was my
I
phone.
was thinking it was the iPad that you got it working on. The phone didn't work. Okay.
I'm gonna have to.
Well, Brad said that he couldn't make it, and he did give an update on his colonies. He said it was the worst year he's ever had. He's got 6 hives left.
Oh,
Oh shit.
yeah, that's bad.
Yeah. Yep. He said it's his worst winter ever. So that kind of sucks actually. After
Yeah, it's terrible.
all those queens he produced last year, I don't know if he actually kept any, to make for nukes or anything like that. But yeah,
Yeah, I don't remember if he expanded at all last year or not.
yeah, I don't really remember. But I know that early fall he had that mite problem,
Mhm.
where he was losing colonies in the fall. But apparently that continued all winter.
Yeah.
Because he was experimenting with that formic acid, or not experimenting, but he was trying it for the first time. Um, I like I said, I thought, I told him that I thought the stuff was evil. You know, I never had a good experience, but he
Yeah.
tried.
A lot of people use it though.
They do, they do,
A lot of people. A lot of people around here use it too.
and I'll be honest with you, I read it all the time about how many people have so much trouble with it.
Mhm.
You know,
I used it one time and I didn't like it. And
queens either die or queens stop laying or 30% of the colony is dead, or whatever.
Hmm.
It just, man, I'm just like, holy crap.
But why wouldn't it kill the mites though? I mean, it's pretty powerful stuff.
yeah.
That's true. That's true.
Mhm.
You're right. Why wouldn't it? Well, I mean, Bob Binney said that he was having problems with Apivar. Not,
Yeah.
but it wasn't killing any of his bees, but it wasn't killing the mites either, from what I understand.
Right.
You know, they were
Mhm.
wondering about a resistance to it. I might I would point more towards quality control. You know, maybe
Yeah.
less amatraz per stick being put in, stuff like that. That can happen.
Mhm.
Being impregnated with less of the active ingredient.
Right. Right.
You know,
Well, you don't know how much he rotates his treatments either, and what if he rotated. A lot of those guys, that's all they use is
that's true.
FMR.
That's true. I thought he did say that he did oxalic acid
Yeah.
vapor. I know
Yeah.
that he dedicated a whole bunch of hives. Wayne, you were telling me that to a study, and
Oh,
Oh, oh,
Benny,
that
Bob Benny did. Yeah.
oxalic acid study with the shop towels, huh?
yeah,
Yeah.
and they all
Yeah.
died, or a lot of them died, or something like that, to the extended release.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah. That's weird. Why even that wouldn't work for Bob Benny? I mean, it was done by a college, so
yeah. You would think the protocols would be right on point,
yeah.
for doing it.
Yep.
So why did Randy have such good, favorable results, and they didn't?
Yeah. Didn't work at all for him.
Weather. All it did when I tried it was they propolised it to the top of the bar. They didn't really
Just
take it.
made him.
Yeah, they didn't really take it out or anything like that. So they didn't chew it up and distribute it and all that other stuff that they're supposed to be doing. Um, and it ended up just being a big mess in my. And I think actually that's what Randy ran into a lot too. That's why he's trying these sponges.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's a different delivery system. But even though those sponges were expensive, weren't they like $4 or $5 a piece or something like that?
I don't
Yeah, they're
know.
pretty.
I never heard of what they cost.
Well, me and Wayne were talking, and we went on. I showed him, gave him the link on Amazon, and there was like, what, half a dozen sponges, and it was like 25
Oh,
bucks.
Yeah, I can't remember the price of it.
It was like a half a
I,
dozen sponges, and it was like 25 bucks or something like that.
no.
yeah, and then what? You can cut them in half, right? It's a
Right, but you still
you
need
put a ha-
you still need two per hive or whatever.
oh, you're using a full sheet just cut in half
Yep,
per hive.
yep. So it's $4, So it's not just the 50 cent oxalic acid treatment; it's $4, but it's a extended release too. I guess you got to look at it that way too. So you're over weeks, 4 weeks, 5 weeks,
Mm-hmm.
or whatever the heck it is till they get it out of the hive. So
Right.
that's the whole idea behind it, and that's why people are excited about this that EPA guidelines being okaying, the residue of oxalic acid in honey,
Yeah.
um, because that opens the door for that oxalic acid extended release. You know.
Right, because that rule really doesn't do us any good with the vapor.
No, because you can't do any good with
80% of the mites are
in the
in
queen
the brood.
under the
Yeah.
brood anyway, so you can't really do anything. But with the extended release, every time something hatches, you still got stuff in there.
Yeah.
Taking
So
the
now if we can get
residual.
that approved on labels.
Well, actually, it doesn't have to be approved because the residual is approved. So
The technique don't have to be approved.
the technique doesn't have to be approved. The oxalic acid has been deemed to be safe. At
So now we can use any application that we can think of to.
exactly. The big debate now is for people is, well, is it the label that matters? Because that
Oh yeah, the label on your oxalic acid.
April dioxy or whatever is the only one that was like approved, for use.
Mhm.
And everybody was wondering, well, yeah, it's approved for use, but now you can only use that with honey instead of any oxalic acid, like, from Amazon or whatever.
Yeah.
So that's a big debate. People trying to pick apart the wording in the new EPA guidelines as to
Right.
whether you can use any, oxalic acid or if it has to be the specific one, because it's always the label rules all, and if the label still says not to be used while honey super's on, you can't do it. And then some people are arguing that nope, the new guidelines supersede the labels, and some people are arguing it the other way. So it's really funny to watch that argument.
Yeah.
You know, but it should open the door again to at least more experimentation in extended release for oxalic acid.
Right.
Where more colleges and universities, you don't have to apply for all this grant money. They can just do it. Or not grant money, but permission, special permission
Right.
to do it.
Yeah.
And I think that's what Cayman's experimental. I still haven't figured out exactly what his experimental new
Yard's gonna be the new one.
yard is going to be for.
Yeah.
Yeah, it sounds like he's gonna test out all the different ways to treat mites and
I'll be honest with you.
different hive configurations and.
You can do all that like me. I always play with different, but mine, you can't uh, generate any kind of, just because I wrap my hives, or I didn't wrap my hives last year and I had good success, doesn't mean that that's the right way to do it. It just means that worked that time. You know, there's so many
Yeah.
Right.
factors, and a scientific way of doing protocols and setting this number of hives, this number of hives, and then you have a control group where you know, you don't do anything to it to compare to the other ones. That really has to be, I mean, seriously, controlled, monitored, data kept. It can't be done willy nilly like me, Joe A. Beekeeper, trying experimenting with no top venting, you know, just because it
Yeah.
worked. Um, it doesn't definitively say why it worked or if it worked in every situation across the country.
Well, it mainly worked because you had the styrofoam on top, huh? That's the main reason. That's the key to the whole system of overwintering.
I don't know. Ask Dan. He didn't put any styrofoam on his, and the bees were accessing the water.
Well, they were.
Did you have
How
fence
late
or
was
no
that?
fence?
December before I put it on? I forget.
Do you remember when you put that on?
I think it was in December. I'm not sure. Don't remember no more.
I thought it was like January or something when you were saying that
It was
kept,
pretty late.
because you kept saying nope, haven't put it on yet. Nope, haven't put it on yet.
Well, December was pretty nice still, so maybe it
Yeah.
was beginning of January.
Well, and then I found that I forgot a couple of them. I missed a few, so they got them later yet. So I probably did do a few in January. Went out and checked, and oh, I didn't put insulation on you. And they were fine.
How are your bees, Dan? What's your success?
I went out and counted yesterday.
Yeah,
Lost 3
you lost
at
3.
20 left.
That even the weak ones. I mean, that you did you count
The
them?
weakest ones are the ones that died. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
And how many total do you have?
20 of them right now.
Nice,
I mean, that's really good,
real
man.
nice.
That's like
And
85%.
I'm thinking I'm gonna have to be splitting like 10 of them right away. So I'm gonna be up my eyeballs in bees for pretty quick here.
How are you gonna split them without queens?
I'm gonna go buy a couple queens. I'm gonna go buy them. I go up to Chris Hansen's. I like the queens I got up there,
Yeah.
and they seem to do good for me. I don't know the Carnolian ones.
Yep. I have gotten a couple from. Matter of fact, one of my uh, queens that survived the winter was a Hanson one that I picked up from a guy that had bought too many, and he had them
Yeah,
here. You know, local. He had an extra one, so I went and picked it up to replace that queen that just wandered around the hive and didn't do anything.
yeah,
And she made it, so that's good.
yeah, yeah. I like those queens last year. I bought a whole bunch of them. My brother-in-law bought a few, and I had the best ones of the batch. You know, they were big and fat yet. Those other ones, I don't know if they were caged too long or whatever, but they were so shriveled up and small.
Really?
Yeah, it was pretty. Yeah, there was the Italian ones there. They didn't turn out worth a shit. Yeah,
Yeah, I'm not buying any Italian ones, but I know he gets his. Doesn't he get them out of California?
yeah. I believe he does have a supplier there.
I wonder
He,
if he has
he
them.
told me a while back that he works with this guy, and they do switch. He takes bees back and forth, so he does his own here, and when they do good here, he takes them over there too, and reads off of them, I guess. So
Okay.
yeah, because he's in the almonds. If you go on Instagram, if you can look on him, he's was over in the almonds with a bunch of bees. Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, man, I'd take anything over those shipped queens, man. You know those ones that are in the mail. I don't know what it is, but but I don't know if he gets his shipped to him either.
yeah.
Maybe it's better to have
Well, he gets like 100 at a time. So
100 at a time, probably shipped in a little different configuration.
oh yeah, it's in a big box of bees. Yeah.
Hmm. Wayne,
Why is it you think you need to have early queens? I mean, why
I
would you be splitting
split them really
before you
early.
could make one?
before I could make one. Because
You think they would swarm
I
before you could
really
make a
like the
queen?
queen going is be in June. You know, so
And you
I,
think they swarm before that?
oh yeah, I got a bunch of them. They're huge right now. Just,
Yeah, but don't they have to do a few rounds of brood and start raising drones before they swarm?
they'll do that. Yeah, they'll start earlier than the rest. You know,
Oh,
those weak those weak ones, take forever to build up, but these strong ones, they just build up really quick. I just don't want them swarming out on me right away. If I can split them quick, I'll have to start building more boxes and more deeps.
Well, I know like what Ian says is like you can't really go by what's on top because they kind of congregate to the top. That's why he
Yeah.
tips his on the bottom, then he counts the bees down in the bottom for frames of
Oh,
bees because a lot of them will just congregate on the top and make it kind of look more than what's really there.
yeah.
So
Mhm.
you might have more time than you think, or throw another box on them or something, just to keep
Yeah.
them up while you're waiting. It's rare we have any bees swarm here until freaking June.
Yeah.
I mean, unless they came from Florida.
I had one early colony last year. It was the biggest one of mine. Swarmed early on me.
They did swarm.
And that was split too on top of it.
When did it? What do you remember when?
Uh, that was the one that stung the shit out of me last year. I put it on the video on. So that one was split and swarmed. So, um,
Mid-May or
not
something, huh?
sure quite what that was, but I figured I'd be safe for the year.
Well, yeah, I think what 5 queens on order, and I have no idea when I'm getting any of them.
Yeah.
I ordered 2 from New River Honeybee, and 3 from that place in Manhattan. Isn't that where that or that Massachusetts?
Massachusetts. Yeah.
Isn't that where that is? Yeah. I figured I'd try some East Coast queens because I've had good success with East Coast Carniolans rather than the West Coast. Get away from those crazy Californians.
You'll be bi-coastal.
Yeah. Surf. Yeah, either surf and turf. So Wayne was trying out his coffin hive. Tell us about your coffin hive, man.
Yeah.
That didn't go so well. I was banking on the fact that it'd be like Rick Williams' scenario where they're in a nice insulated box and they can go up and access the feeder up on top like his do.
Yeah.
Well, they don't. Mine don't. They just stay down below, and so I didn't even feed them until I didn't even put the feed on until it was already winter. So they didn't have nothing stored up or nothing. So I lost quite a few. I lost 8 out of 12. So I got 4 alive. So if I do it this next winter, I'm gonna have to treat it just like a regular hive and feed them up to weight before, and just realize that they're not gonna go up in the feeder.
And you only had 4 frames in each one?
Yeah,
4 frames.
yeah. But yeah, so the feeder thing didn't work. I mean, they were able to store some anyhow because we had a nice November and December,
Mm-hmm.
but it just wasn't. I mean, they just started dying here after this cold stretch. Most of them started dying.
Yeah.
That's kind of amazing because I mean you had 12 hives all in a row. I mean the heat shared between all those colonies you would think would have helped them. Not to mention you got it completely wrapped in
It's 2 inches of styrofoam,
2 inches
yeah,
of styrofoam. That's just
and 4 inches on top.
and 4 inches on top, and yet you had 8 of them die. Did they?
Yeah.
But you said some of them starved.
Yeah, I think they starved or they didn't have nothing in there.
I had
They had a
two.
little bit left, but it was away from the cluster.
I
Yeah.
had two 5/5 colonies that had 9 frames of bees. I mean, they were loaded, and they didn't have a drop of honey left.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm just like, what a waste. Seriously,
Yeah.
I thought I did everything, but that warm November, and I wasn't around to like, try to give them some open feeding or whatever while they were flying all that November, and they must have burned through that really.
Oh, yeah. I figured they ate a lot more this year than usual.
Yeah, I just
The warm weather we had.
I just think, and then the funny thing is, my weaker colonies, um, they starved, but there was honey like 2 inches away. But they were so small a cluster they couldn't literally move during those 2 weeks to get over to the honey. So they just sat there and they ran out of food and they starved.
Mm.
So it's like it, either too big or too small. You
Yeah.
know, it's like the three little bears, man. You know, I got 10 colonies that were just right.
Well, I got two colonies that I didn't feed any sugar at all to yet. So I'm thinking those are the ones to graft from. So
Oh,
they give me a nice cluster, but they had honey all around and they're looking good. Good sized cluster yet and stuff. So I think those are the ones to use.
Yeah.
Not the huge one that's wall to wall with bees. And that's but yeah,
hey Dan, I built those double screen boards,
yeah.
and I put that weaker colony on top. One of them lived. The weak
Oh yeah,
the weak one on
I got
top
one
lived.
up there too.
Huh?
I got one of those on top of another hive too. Yeah.
Yeah, it actually survived. I just found that out yesterday, and I was shocked the hell out of me because I
Hmm.
had two of them, and one of them died. One of the top ones died, um,
Yeah.
but still have a New River honeybee from 2019 that I mated in my yard, and she's still alive and a strong colony, and that's the one that was underneath. And they had lots of stores and everything. I didn't have to feed them or anything. I did just in case, whatever, if they're sitting on brood, I didn't want them to like move over to some honey and they get split up or anything. I wanted stuff on top of them. So I
Yeah.
put it on today, but pretty happy with that. That's the queen I want to draft from this year.
Yeah.
But but all my swarms that I caught last year from my boss, all those
Yeah.
swarms, they're all dead, every one of them.
Oh, you should have requeened them right away.
I sat there and I'm like, I didn't do anything with those hives. I really didn't. I just had them in boxes, and I was like, I should have requeened them or split them up, made nukes or something,
Mm.
but I
Yeah.
just I just didn't, and I'm kicking myself. But yeah, you're right. I should have requeened them, but with all my troubles with
Hmm.
trying to raise queens last year,
Maybe this year
I didn't
you'll
have
have
enough.
more time this year.
Huh?
You're gonna have more time this year.
A lot more time this year. Yeah, my
Okay.
weekends are my own, and I get
Mm.
off every day at 4 o'clock.
Okay.
So yeah, I don't have to work till 8 o'clock at night every night or anything. So that's gonna really help. I mean, I can graft right 4 o'clock when I get home. If I
Oh yeah.
wanted to. You know.
Hmm.
So that's really gonna help me. You know. Went out to my new apiary today to try to.
Yeah, that looks pretty nice.
Did you see that?
Yeah, nice southern exposure there, south facing, pine trees behind it. It's nice.
Yeah, I really like that one. I'm like,
A little hill there behind them.
yep, as a
Yeah,
as
that's
a
nice.
windbreak. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
really gonna do me well. I think. Uh,
Mm.
as long as I don't put them too close to the road because I know the farmer, he'll probably get mad if he's dragging some kind of wide thing and my hives are too close to the road. You know, I don't want to
Yeah.
push them all the way back to the woods,
Yeah.
but but yeah, with all those fields all the way around it, my production yard is about 3/4 of a mile away from there.
Okay.
Oh,
So, or yeah, maybe even just a little less than 3/4 of a mile away. That's where I have my, you know, bigger hives or whatever. But um, it's also going to be, I'm going to have my mating unit sitting on the fence line about 200, 300 yards from my production hives. So anyway, with all the drones, you know, that's well within, you
Oh,
know,
sure.
all my drones from my nukes should be able to help out my queens, you know, my virgins out there.
nice.
So, and then, yeah, the commercial guys are probably like 3/4 of a mile on the other side, and it's highly doubtful those drones will travel that far to mine, because it'll be like over a mile. Uh,
Well, you know your queen's gonna do that though.
well, my queens might, but if there's a DCA closer, my queens
Yeah.
will go there.
Oh yeah.
I have the highest hill in my county
Oh,
is on his farm,
oh, okay.
and he's got a big break in between the tree line. And I was thinking about that. I'm like, I'll bet you the DCA is.
That's a thought. Yeah.
I'll bet you that's the DCA right there. You know,
Mhm.
because
Nice.
I just never been up there to really look. I never walked that far up the field to go over there. But I'm like, you know, I should go and sit there one time at, like, you know, in June at 1 o'clock or in the afternoon or whatever, and just listen. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Get about 40 queens to mate and just sit out there and watch.
Well,
See if you can.
I think DCA's happen every day, regardless if there's queens flying or not. They just
Yeah.
congregate just in case, you know.
Well, that one little movie I saw years ago, More Than Honey, they showed that queen being chased by a drone congregation, out in the sky. You can watch them go. It's just a little cloud of bees just going across the sky with that queen.
Oh, wow.
That's really neat.
Oh, is that one that was on that pendulum that swung around
No, that was a different one.
with
Yeah,
that queen? Oh, that was a different. Okay.
yeah. This was they were pointing it out in the sky. They were seeing it.
Oh, okay.
Where they would do these queens in Greece or something and ship them to England or whatever they did.
Okay, but yeah, I've been hearing a lot that, it's generally like a break in the wood line or something on the, like, on a hill where it's like the highest point and stuff like that. So, I know very little about drone congregation areas. I mean, I've never seen
Yeah,
one, but I sure would like to see it, or
that'd
hear
be
it,
fun. Yeah.
or hear it. Not that I have the best eyesight in the world, but I'd like to hear it. I'd like to know where it is. I mean, queens will only they will fly up to 2 miles away or whatever
Yeah.
if they have to. But if your DCA is close, that's where they're gonna go.
Well, all my queens they got had to be mated in the yard where my bees work because that's all
Yeah, I mean, I was mating my queens here in my yard, and I could have swore to God that one time, like, all these bees were just up in the sky. I'm just like, what in the hell is going on? And the only thing I could come up with, because I had
Mhm.
like all these, they were walkaway splits that was
Yeah.
all the virgins were hatching or whatever, and some had hatched out. But I would get, I mean, it seemed like it was only like 200 feet above my mating
Oh.
nukes that this was happening, and all these bees were up in the air just swirling around, and I'm like, holy crap.
Hmm.
And I was just guessing. I'm like, I'll bet you that's a queen went out, and all the drones are following her around, you know.
Hmm. Well, even the worker bees do that because a few years ago I saw one of the virgins go out, and it was coming back, and those worker bees would come up and meet it, and actually grabbed onto her and fell right in the grass, right in front of the hive.
Oh, is that
Get up
right?
and yeah, it was
Jeez.
really weird. Saw that one time.
They met her in the air.
Yeah, yeah.
Now, Bob Binney has said that his production in yards where he puts his mating nukes, like close to his production hives, goes down, and he thinks it has to do with the traffic, the
Oh,
the bee
I'll be quick.
traffic, and that might be, maybe they drag them down to the grass so that they don't come back or something,
Yeah.
for
Oh, yeah.
for competing hives or I don't know. But he did
Yeah.
say
We
that
don't
he
know
knows.
nothing about what bees do yet.
What's that?
We don't know anything about what they do.
You'd think after like 6 centuries of 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 beekeeping that us humans would have an idea.
Well, we keep on dying off. We don't live 6 centuries. We keep on dying off.
I know, but you'd think you get passed down to your kids, and then you'd think that we'd know. You know.
No, no.
Well, actually, if you look at publications from back in the 1800s, the guys are saying the same thing that the guys are saying today. The studies.
Yeah,
You
but
know,
nobody.
Yeah, basically, yeah.
Yeah,
honestly, they really are. It's just regurgitated stuff over and over and over again. It's kind of
yeah.
forgotten, obviously because you don't go and dig up these old articles. And you get new beekeepers and a lot of misinformation, obviously, and you gotta
And
kind of
they keep on asking the same questions on the same websites all the time.
and you gotta weed
Yeah, just constantly.
you gotta weed
Yeah,
through all the misinformation and I'll be honest with you. I mean, when I first started, I was probably passing on misinformation. You hear something and you're like, oh yeah, I know the answer to that. So you passed it on, and
hmm
you really didn't know the answer. You just heard it
yeah.
from somebody that heard it from somebody that passed it on to somebody else. I guess
Oh,
Bob Benny used it as an example for honey that if you freeze it or make it cold, it'll crystallize faster. And he's like, and he's a packer, so he would know. And I'm like,
hmm
that's absolutely not true, you know.
yeah.
So he goes, that's the information that kind of just gets regurgitated by people and passed along, articles and things.
That's why we have so much fun posting pictures in the wintertime of taking the lids off of hives and watching everybody say, "You're going to kill those bees doing that."
Or you're trying to show them, a nice healthy colony, and then they tell you what you
Doing
need to
wrong.
do to help your bees, and
Yeah.
you're just like,
I just posted another picture the other day, so
okay,
open up the same hive over and over again and see I'm killing this hive. It
You
was kind
just
of neat
killed
when I
all them bees.
heard that coach bell. Open up there and all that frost was on the frames all the way around that cluster. So that would. No, I got no answers off of that one. No, nobody's confronted me on killing my hive.
oh, is that right?
Yeah. So
Well, the frost around the edge is not a big deal.
yeah,
That's where it's supposed to be.
Yes,
yeah.
that's exactly what
That's
it
where
is.
your condensation is supposed to be on the outside,
Yep,
on the sidewalls.
yep,
Mm.
absolutely it is. Oh, that's no bullshit there. But are you guys buy? I'll be right back. Are you guys buying any bees this year?
No.
No, I'll buy a few queens this year again probably, but that's about it. I'm gonna. Kevin's always got his little beer there. I got my beer here.
Oh, there you go. What's it called?
Killian's.
Killians.
Red.
Yeah, drink some good beer once, Kevin.
Killian's Red. Yep. I don't drink good. I drink very, very cheap. This is
I don't drink much. I drink good.
this is $17 for 30 cans.
Oh, that's the good stuff.
This is just happens to be cold and wet.
Uh,
No, I did buy. I ordered a few more packages because I only got 10 hives. And one's kind of iffy,
mm,
whether it's going to make it or not, or if it does, it's going to take a long time to do
yeah,
anything. But I did order a few packages. I'm going to split those over like I did this year, and then
yeah.
those are. I mean, I'm everything's going to be resource bees for me this
You
year.
buying it from the club again?
Huh?
You buying those bees from the club again,
Well, from Kelly, yeah.
Kelly? Yeah,
Kelly, yeah.
he does that through the club. Yeah,
Well, it's not through the club actually. That's Kelly. He just
yeah.
he
He
just
he
happens
does it. But
he just happens to give a discount.
he gives a discount to the club members.
Right. He just
Yeah.
Oh, that's nice.
he does. Yeah. Last year it was 10. I think a $10 discount. This year it's 5. So, but hey, any discount's good. So I'm okay. But the price went up. So
Yeah.
and then queens. Holy cow! I got 3 extra queens last year. They were $25. This year they're 40.
Hmm.
Dang.
Yeah, tell me about it.
Yeah, I was looking at price of queens too, and yeah,
Yep.
everybody.
Yep. I just was like, holy
I
crap.
sell queens for $10, no more to the club.
Yeah. I mean, if New River Honey and that other guy would get me the queens in April, that would be great. But there's no way.
No.
So I'm gonna do it. But it's still with package and splitting. I'm still only at $80 per hive instead of
Yeah.
150. You know,
Mhm.
so
Yeah.
I can live with that. And then I'm just taking a frame a week or so, as needed from each hive to either populate a mating nuke, populate a nuke or something like that. To start, it's just gonna be mating nukes, and then later on it'll be for regular nukes,
Yeah.
splits and things like that. So that shouldn't be too bad. I'm trying to formulate a timeline for me because I don't want to like Brad or Tim where you do 40 cells and then
Yeah.
sit there and I go, holy crap, I need bees for 40 mating nukes, so I only want
Yeah.
to do 10. I'll probably graft 15, and if I get
Mm.
10 to make it, then
Yeah.
I only need 10 frames of bees in those mini nukes, and then the next week 10 more, but by then
First time, the
my
first time,
bees will hatch
the
and
first time I grafted,
huh.
I did. First time I grafted, I did 30.
Yeah.
Up at 22, and I said, "Holy shit, what am I gonna do?" 30 queen cells, 22 queen cells.
Yeah.
So I just
Yeah, me too.
a bar now at a time.
Yeah, I remember Wayne, you like completely, tore apart.
Yeah, I was hoping for like 12 maybe, so we did like 26 or what was it, 31, and we got 26 out of 31. It's like I tore yeah, I tore everything
You
down.
tore everything down to nothing to
Yeah,
try to get a
yeah.
mating
Yeah,
nuke.
Try to get some queen. But last year it worked real good doing exactly what you said, doing a bar with 10 to 12
Yep.
yeah,
and just and then what's really nice about it too is you can do it from other queens too and get some other genetics because
yeah,
if you did a whole bar, if you did just made your whole apiary all sisters, then
Yep.
that ain't good either.
Yeah. Well, it
no,
won't be good in a few years.
Huh?
It won't be good in a year or two. Yeah, because all your
Yeah.
hives will be all the drones will be all from one queen. It's like,
Yeah, yeah,
oh.
yeah.
And that's
yeah.
why I went out and bought those queens from uh, New
New
River
River and
and
Mass.
that one in Massachusetts that you recommended.
Yeah, get some
I'll
bloodline,
get some
different.
bloodlines in there and I can graft from them too, but mostly for drones. You know,
Yeah,
that's kind
Yeah.
of why I was doing it was for the drones. Um, so that'll absolutely help me out. You know, um, but yeah, 10 for the week. Like, and I'm thinking about grafting. Not every 4 days or anything like that. Maybe every 10 days, doing a
Hmm.
bar,
Yeah.
a bar of cells,
Yeah.
Mhm.
and then 10 days after that, doing a bar of cells, and then the next 10 days, I'll be able to pull queens from the first batch that made it and laid and everything, and then
Yeah.
create nukes out of those, and I can start the nukes up, building, getting actual building actual colonies from them. That's the plan.
Right.
That's the plan, anyways.
Mhm.
And then as I'm pulling queens, then those mini mating nukes become, I can just put cells in all those, that I'm pulling queens from. I can put, cells that are ready in those. But I kind of got to generate a timeline as to how I can. But that seems to work for everybody, how they do their schedules. It's like, okay, we move this from A to B, and then this to this, and then, okay, then we pull cells on this day, we put them in the incubator, and then we get the nukes ready on this day, and,
Have you decided what you're going to start out? Are you going to start out with your 2-frame mating nukes, or are you going to start out with your little mating
I'm
nukes?
probably going to do probably a little bit of both, I'm going to guess.
Maybe save them mating nukes for your fall when you split your
Could be.
when you really do some big splits. Well, you're not going to be splitting production hives though.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm going to,
So
yeah, I have to see, what I
yeah,
need, how it goes, whether I have any production hives or at all. Like my whatever I use for my cell builder, that's going to be a big hive. At the end of the year that I'll split out.
Mhm.
Um, Whatever I use for my uh, what are they? Breeder queen, I guess, or breeder queens. Those colonies are going to probably tend to be bigger because it might get me a box or two of honey each or something.
Yeah.
yeah,
My cell builder, I can put queen or supers in. When it becomes a finisher, you can put the supers right back on it.
right.
You know,
Yeah.
yeah, it's a little pain in the ass when you start tearing it apart, you know, but I'm gonna be doing how Bob Binney does it, literally. You know, I'm just gonna
Oh,
use
yeah, my cell builder was just a regular hive, so
yeah,
it's a double. I just split it apart, put it back together
yeah.
when it was done.
That's
Yeah.
that's literally what I'm gonna be doing. I'm gonna be using that double screen board.
Hmm.
That's what I'm gonna be doing. So my queen will stay in that one. I'll just take it, put it in the one above,
Yeah.
and then when I put it back together, I know where she's at, so she'll be on the bottom, and then a
Yeah.
queen excluder, and then my my queen or my grafts are going to be above it, or not my grafts, my frames of cells to finish are going to be above it, and then you can put supers on over that, but I can always just you know knowing where she's at every time, and just take that, wrap it around, put that double screen board back on, shake the bees down, you know.
Hmm.
So that's what I'm planning on doing, anyways. We'll see how it works. Since I'm not real experienced with it, it's gonna be interesting for sure. But I'm really looking forward to it. I can't jump the gun though. Around here, I don't know. I don't think I can start. I don't think we got drones until,
Yeah.
oh god, at least Memorial Day, if not later.
Yeah.
When do you start grafting, Dan? You're north of me.
Yeah. It was. Gosh, it wasn't until June actually. Yeah. I was waiting for nice weather to hit. Yeah, they were waiting, wanted to get started in May, and it had to wait till June.
Yeah,
So yeah, it does take a while. You don't want to have queens that can't go out and fly and get mated. So
exactly. With that crappy weather that we had in May all the time. I mean,
yeah,
I've seen snow. I've seen frost and snow all the way up to Memorial Weekend
yeah.
here. Seriously, I have. I don't know where you're at, Wayne, if that's the case, but
Oh, I did as soon as I seen drones hatching, 'cause I purposely put drone comb in early as soon as they started really
Oh yeah.
brooding good. So then as soon as they started hatching, I started grafting. I think it was the last week of May, so they probably didn't hatch until like June 2nd or something.
yeah, that's when
Is
when you
when the
start
queens hatched.
when you start hatching. That's when you can start grafting because by the time your grafts mature and everything, now the drones will be like mating mature.
Yeah.
I think a drone has to be, I don't even know how old. It has to
I
be
think
like
it's 10 I think it's 10 days after it.
10 days before it becomes
Yeah.
sexually
Yeah.
mature. So yeah, when you start,
To
some people say they start when the drone pupa or
have purple
purple
eyes.
eyes.
Purple eye.
I've also heard people say no, that's even too early. You know?
Oh
Well, they're going to be hatching soon, so if you start your queen, then it's 16 days, and if she don't go out
yeah.
flying around to get mated for another
Right, but the first
four or
ones,
five
those
days.
purple drones, you're not going to have a ton of them out there, and that's what you want is a ton of them. You're going to have a few of them. The
Right.
first ones are going to
Yeah.
Yeah.
start hatching, but that's why they say it's like even then
But
it's
if you put a
6 to 7
drone
days.
comb in every one of your hives, you're going to have quite a few drones.
True, true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm not doing. I mean, I'm not going to do. I don't have drone comb, but what I'm doing is all those freaking frames of foundationless.
Yeah, that's what mine is too.
I'm just
Yeah.
letting them decide on that last frame at the end, how they want to draw it out. If they
Yeah.
want to put drone comb on it, they'll make something, most of it drone comb and some of it worker comb. Whatever they want, they'll be able to make it themselves rather than the
Those in,
whole thing being green.
I had a whole bunch of foundationless made in, was it 2019 or whatever?
Yeah,
And some are just all worker cells, but a lot of them are drones. So then the ones that actually have the drone cells on it, I just painted the top of the bar green, so I know that
Um,
these are.
that's smart.
So
mhm.
then, so then I stick it in pretty close to the center, not in the center, but just off to the side of the
Well,
center.
that when I put it
Make
in
sure it gets laid up.
the middle, like in the middle of my brood nest for them to draw out, I always find that you know they'd make it like 70% worker comb and then 30% drone comb. But if I put it further I put it out on the edge,
To the
then
side.
they'll make it even more drone comb and less worker comb out there, to the side.
Yeah.
Um, but because and then yeah, that way I was like, okay, I'm not putting any more foundationless like in the middle to be drawn out. Because actually, even watch that German video, those German videos.
Yeah.
She had foundationless. They were always out at the edge. That's where they made it. When they were drone trapping.
Yeah.
Cutting the drones off for mites. That's what they do. They put it all out on the edge for the drones. Um, and just made sense to me. I'm just like, okay.
Well, if you want worker comb made, catch a swarm and put all your foundationless in the swarm. They'll draw a worker comb so nice.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That's true. That's true. I don't honestly. I like the plastic foundation. The foundationless one per colony is all they're getting. That's it. I've had too much problems, especially in the fall. All of a sudden, because it's built like this, and then it cracks at the top and hangs down on fishing lines and angling area. And I'm like, damn it, because it gets full of
Yeah.
honey. It's so heavy. It
Yeah.
gets so, and so I'm like, all right, easy on the foundationless, Kevin. You know, don't
Yeah.
put so much
I just keep it just for brood. Yep.
just for brood and just one per. I don't need three in one hive, because then I'll run into that problem. For when
Yeah.
when you're trying to winter them, because you're monkeying around, you're pulling frames out, all of a sudden, kunk, and you're like,
Yeah.
Well, I make sure I use the regular wire for that. So yeah,
oh yeah,
I don't use kitchen line. I don't believe in that crap. I do a lot of wax foundation, so I use the regular wire in my
Yeah, I
brood.
seen you post on Cayman's chat there that you have a whole bunch of that coming up.
Oh yeah, I got
Yeah.
25 pounds ordered, so yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah. Here you go.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about, man. It's this
All right.
all worker comb. There's a little drone comb over here, and that's where, but it gets so heavy with the honey, and it just breaks off.
Yeah.
yeah. Use wire like you're supposed to, not that fishing line. Mm,
Yeah. No, I'll use plastic mostly. That's what I'll use.
yeah,
But this stuff, yeah, not that it's a big deal. I mean, I can always just crunch it and stuff, but I can't really crunch the where the honey is.
yeah. I
I'm
do
gonna
like
let them draw
wax
foundationless.
stuff.
What do you like?
I like using wax foundation in the brood nest, though.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Seems like they can rework it, if they need drone comb in there, stuff like easier.
Hmm.
So it works out pretty good.
Yeah, like I said, that's why I want my foundationless on the outside. They'll make the drone comb as they need it. I mean, I won't get it on the bottomless comb or on the frames either
Yeah,
until they build it. You know, 30% actually. I heard that that's what they generally do in the wild. thirty
yeah,
percent of the comb is drone comb naturally. You know,
Yeah. Foundationless is a really good way to get some drone cone.
it
That's for
is.
sure.
I mean, I'll be honest with you, especially for what we're trying to do. I think drones are a good thing to have.
Yeah. Yeah, for
hmm
sure.
I totally believe even when Bob Denny mentioned it, he goes, you'll find that hives that can, that have drones, uh, and you're allowing them the ability to make drones, they're more content, and
yeah,
they're not all stressed out.
Yeah.
I mean, breeding and everything, that's everything to them. They're continuing their line.
yeah,
That is everything to them. So being able to make so people that just they get rid of all the drone comb and it's all worker comb and you know all the drones are just taking off every time. I bet you are stressing out a colony. Well, because beekeepers, commercial ones, they get in this mindset everything is worker comb for honey. I gotta maximize. I don't want any
Yeah.
drones because of pollination. I want whatever.
If I was in it for money, I wouldn't be beekeeping. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you what, that scenario that guy spelled out, I just it gave me
Oh,
pause. I was like, holy crap, man! I'm like, you know, yeah, he's got $200,000 cleared, and he has business expenses, but still,
hmm
that's a year, and even if he has a big shed with, all his honey equipment that he's paying a loan on,
yeah,
he's still
yeah.
he's still
Paying the
covering that
foot off. Yeah,
and then some. That blew me away, and after I was doing the math, and I'm like, wow. I'm like, yeah, it's unethical as hell. I mean,
oh
Yeah.
yeah.
it's a great business model, but if you really want to be a keeper of bees, that's being a businessman. Seriously, it is. You know, that's not being a beekeeper. That's just saying, you know, it's like having an executive tell you what to do. nope, we're getting rid of all the bees in the fall. In the fall, we're not feeding them. You know, I mean, making those
Yeah.
management decisions.
Yeah.
It's like we just maximizing everything, and this is the bottom line. This is the chart.
Hmm.
But it did blow me away to say, damn, he made a ton of freaking money.
Yeah.
And he got rid of every freaking bee he had. Now I don't know where they were to get 195 pounds per hive.
Yeah.
Must have been around southern Indiana, or next to Tim Ives.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
It's hard to get it out of the bees
Huh?
that much.
Yeah,
It's hard to get that much out of the bees. That much a hive.
yeah.
I bet my best hives only give me 200, two supers of honey, and that was like 60 pounds.
Yep, yep.
And then one box of honey in the fall. So
Well, my best hive got me, what, 130 pounds last year? That was that one that swarmed on me. It was
yeah,
90 pounds the year before. I had 6 supers or something on it. Ridiculous.
yeah,
And I have had hives in the past that get that big. Don't know what it is about them, but I always have one super hive. But
hmm,
most of my hives are 2 supers. You know,
yeah,
that's about it of honey. And those 1.5 pound packages, that's kind of what I average for those. Was about 50 to 60 pounds, somewhere around there for those.
yeah,
But still, like I said the math. Even I spent $300 on bees and I made $1,000 in honey.
hmm,
You know, before I paid for mites
oh
and sugar syrup. You know,
yeah,
the sugar syrup's expensive in the fall. I mean, it really is. I was doing the math. I'm like, I got to get a hive up to 70 pounds. Like that's like $25 worth of sugar. You know,
yeah,
it is. It's 50 pounds of sugar and 25 pounds of water. You know,
mm.
to get them up to 75 pounds. That's a lot.
That's a lot of hot sugar. Yeah,
Yeah, that's a lot of sugar. You know, so yeah, that's 25, $30. Not to mention, you feed a lot in August where they're not really gaining any weight. After you take the honey supers off, you're just feeding them, you're just kind of getting them by.
yeah,
Before they really start stacking it on again in September. That's when you really start pouring the feed to them,
hmm.
and you're hoping the goldenrod takes over. But you had a goldenrod this year.
I had a good goldenrod flow up here.
Yeah.
The year before it didn't have a flow, but it had pollen. And then last year there was a flow, but no pollen out of it. I didn't see the pollen coming in. It's weird how the goldenrod works sometimes.
I suppose it probably has to do with how much rain there is, huh?
Yeah.
In that specific month or whatever, as to
Hmm.
how the nectar, maybe the nectar gets
You get
washed off.
moisture,
Yeah, the nectar gets washed off or whatever.
or the pollen gets washed off before they get out there.
That too,
That's
yeah.
cool.
Did you have to feed a lot this year, Dan, or did
Uh,
your bees fill up on goldenrod?
they were pretty full when I did feed. I did feed a bit, a couple 100 pounds of sugar, but I had 23 hives at the fall, so I didn't really feed that much per hive.
I was sitting there doing the math, trying to figure out the more hives you get, your sugar bill. That's insane
Yeah,
because it really doesn't go very far. You mix up
I,
20
I think I
pounds.
had my first hive in 1972, and I never fed sugar, and that sucker lasted 5 years, never re-cleaned it, and I
Wow.
pulled off 120 pounds every year off of that
Oh
sucker.
shit!
Yeah, so I was just a kid doing honey, with one hive. them buggers stung the shit out of me, but boy,
That's amazing.
and that was, before Varroa and all that kind of stuff, and you know,
Are there less flowers out there by you, or?
well, we had the pasture
Yeah.
there on the dairy farm, and we did 2 cuttings a year, so you had the hay flowers, and whatever Glover was out there
Right.
all the time, so that was producing. And everybody around us had beefers, pastures, and stuff like that, and hay. So there was plenty of food for one hive to collect.
Oh, that was only you only had one hive. Okay.
Yeah, that was only when I had one hive.
But you
I
didn't.
was just a kid that didn't know what to do. Nobody helped you. Nobody showed me how to do anything then.
I'm just curious as to why you got 120 pounds back then and not and only half that this now.
Yeah, yeah,
Because you're around pasture land there where you're at, right?
yeah. It's not the that's not the greatest spot. I'm gonna get another yard next to a farm that's close to me here,
Mm-hmm.
and I got my lot 40 acres. I got to put a yard back out there, but that needs a really good bear fence. I got to have a good bear fence up there.
A really good one, a double
A
bear
really
fence.
good one. Yeah.
There's another thing I gotta buy. I gotta buy another
Oh yeah, fencer.
electronic fencer. Not that I bought my first one because that was given to me by the DNR or not DNR, the Wisconsin
Oh yeah.
Agricultural
USDA.
USDA. Yeah, I wonder if they'll give me another one. I mean, what the hell? Biden's giving everything else away.
I never tried that.
What?
I never tried that. Get freebies from the
I just,
government.
I heard about it. I'm like, well, you know, and it's the bear program,
Yeah.
and if there's a bear problem in the area, they'll because it's cheaper for them than to come in and trap bears and all that stuff. It's cheaper for them to give you a fencer, I guess, you know,
Yeah.
because they have what they call crop
Uh,
damage, where they pay like for geese to come in and eat all the corn, farmers' corn. Then they gotta pay the farmer
yeah.
for crop damage. Well, it's the same thing if the bear comes in and
Mm.
like kills all the chickens, or whatever. The DNR or they got to pay for that, you know. So it's
Well,
cheap.
my brother-in-law, he counted like 9 different bear that come out into his place where my bees were.
Jeez.
So there's bear around here.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you got it. I mean, what I'm getting at is that if you're bear, I think in Wisconsin, if you have a bear problem and they destroy like your apiary, I think you can get like recovery money for that.
Mm.
So it's cheaper for them to give you an electronic fence than it is for them to pay for all your hives. And I
Yeah.
think that's the government mentality there. Rather than
Hmm.
saying, you know, beekeep at
Yeah.
your own risk,
Yeah.
you know. But what the hell if they've got money allotted for it? What the hell,
Yeah.
you know?
I'll probably have to go to the ASC office and check in on that, see if I can get anything free. Be like all the rest of the freeloaders.
Yeah, yeah. Of course, I could probably afford to buy my own now. I'm going to get a $1,400 check here pretty quick. I think.
Oh yeah, the 1400. Well, I get double that. She gets one, I get one.
Oh,
So
you get 2,800, huh?
yeah. Hmm. And both of my boys get one. The other boy's got his own place. So.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's like crazy. Why don't you just let people go back to work? Then you
Yes,
wouldn't
let
need
them
it.
get
Yeah,
back
give him a job.
to freaking work.
Yeah.
No, I just mean yeah, let them open the damn country back up.
Yeah. Well, am I the only one here that got COVID?
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah, I didn't get it.
you can get it. Yeah. It was a piece of cake for me, so it wasn't nothing bad about it. So
That's good. I did meet a couple people where it was pretty rough. They said
Yeah.
one guy said he goes I had it, and then my wife got it from me, and he's like, for me, he goes, I tested positive, but I had no symptoms. He said my wife went through hell.
Oh yeah.
You
Yeah,
know,
I know. And a bunch of other people have had a hard time with it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a weird deal.
but I mean,
So,
you go through hell. I go through hell when I catch the flu.
mm,
You know, I want to
Miserable.
I want to curl up and suck my thumb for a week. You know, when I get the flu. I'm always feeling like and it happens to me, it happens about every 8 years. I get it,
yeah.
and it's bad, you know. But I don't get a cold or anything until then. But man, when I get it, oh Jesus, yeah, I camp out. I want to curl up with chicken soup and my thumb in my mouth and near the bathroom. But
Yeah, my wife said you're a baby.
oh,
All guys are compared to
all
women.
guys are big, and I have no wife or girlfriend to take care of me, so it's just me, man.
Yeah. Mm,
But yeah, but what I'm getting at, I don't know. Yeah, I did my rant on YouTube about COVID yesterday, so I'm good.
oh, did you do that? I didn't see it.
Yeah, I did. I did.
I have to go on YouTube again. Huh? I was watching YouTube on the TV today, and that don't show up on.
Oh, mine didn't pop up.
Not on the TV. That's a separate thing. I got to do it on the
It
computer
should. You
here.
got to sign into the same account.
I don't sign in on the TV.
Oh, you don't sign in on TV?
It didn't want to take my account my from my computer.
Oh, okay.
They wanted a Google account, and I don't have a Google account.
I gotcha.
Yeah.
I gotcha. Yeah, mine was just driving out to my apiary. I was just talking to the camera most of the time until the ad break when I showed my new apiary.
Uh,
But I thought it was a fun video to record. To be honest with you,
yeah.
I like ranting, or I mean, just talking. Just talking to the camera. I talked about like 8 different subjects. I think I don't know.
Hmm.
Anyways, how big of a queen rearing program are you doing, Wayne?
Well, I got enough mating nukes now. I can do 50 queens. So,
Oh,
Holy shit!
it's quite a few.
yeah. So I don't know.
And you've got like
I mean, last year I really.
you got like 23 hives or
The
something
funny
like that,
thing,
huh?
yeah, I got the two framers, and then I made some like Dan's, just the little tiny squares with the half frames.
Yeah.
Um, I made some of them. So, but the funny thing was, last year I really didn't use my two framers too much until I was just making. I was able to make bigger, bigger splits. In my 6 frame boxes. I did a lot of queen cells in 6 frame boxes last year.
Okay.
When it came time to the fall, when I was going to take away all the brood and stuff, then I started using my two framers, and
Mhm.
but
Well, you had talked
I'm
about
kind of excited to use them little mini ones. I got boxes built to get the frames drawn out, and a lot of them are going to just be foundationless. And then I suppose just dump 2 cups of bees in there, the queen
Yeah.
cell,
Oh yeah.
kind of like University of Gulf does.
hmm
I'll probably do a mite check on while I'm doing it. Do a sugar roll
Yeah,
and dump the extra bees in the little nuke box. Then go ahead and do it that way. See how that works. See if I can keep them in there. Get those little
yeah,
pheromone strips and put them in there.
I am gonna get
So
some.
yeah.
I am gonna get some of those.
yeah.
Them are nice, them
I'm
pheromone
only
strips.
going to do it a little different. University of Gulf staples their pheromone to the frame,
Hmm.
but I saw where somebody put them on a zip tie,
Oh yeah.
and then they can
So that was
they can slide it in, slide it out, or whatever.
yeah.
I'm like, that seemed like a way better option. That way, right when you put your queen cell in, you can take
Pull
out,
that out.
you can pull it out. You know, you can
Hmm.
put it in there just to keep the bees from taking off. You know, that seemed like a pretty good idea to me. I can't remember where I heard that from with the zip ties. I don't remember whose video I was watching for that, but I like the idea.
Yeah, I can't remember who it was either, but I think I remember that.
He was like, "Holy crap!" I go, "That makes a little bit more sense," because I didn't understand University of Go. You could see them; they put the queen cells in, and then they just shut it up, and that pheromone strip stayed.
Yeah, even when there was a mated queen in there.
And you had said that something happened to one of yours.
Yeah,
Like
they balled
they
up
balled up the virgin or something.
the virgin and the pheromone strip.
Both
They're balling them both at the same.
Oh.
Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah. I can't remember why. I should have took better notes. I try to take a lot of notes. I have a little, like one of them, like appointment books, and then I try and write notes in there. Uh, the time, the day that it happens and what I'm doing, and but a lot of times I just do little things and then I don't add it to my book.
This is going to be my note. I got a Christmas present this year, and
Dan's
I'm going to
got
video.
Dan's got
Got,
video equipment now.
got the
Oh, look at that!
He's gonna be my competition on YouTube now.
Yeah, that was a pretty good video you did with your queen when you took your queen cells and put in your mating nukes.
Oh
I was
yeah.
going to ask you, how do you feed them? There's no feed holes on your
Oh
queen
well,
castles.
I put a frame of bees in there. It's got plenty of honey on it.
Oh,
You don't
so
need.
you don't ever feed them
I
then.
don't ever
Just
feed.
make sure they have a
That was
frame of
actually
honey
the
in it.
second round of bees or queen cells I put in there, and there was just almost too much honey in there already. They were
Oh,
bulging the frame at the top with honeycomb, filled with
So
honey.
yeah.
when you had them draw it out, they were filling it full of nectar.
Yeah,
Is that what you're saying?
they were. They were. That was the second round of queens, so
Yeah.
there was enough bees in there to actually, And when I sell the queens, I just combine all the things into one box now. All the brood frames.
Check this out, Dan.
Yeah, that's like a queen excluder goes on a frame, huh?
It's it it's a queen excluder that doesn't go on a frame. It goes next to a frame. But
Oh, it goes in it
that's how
next,
you
huh?
trap your queen. You can put two of them one on each side like of one frame.
Oh yeah,
And,
yeah.
and put your breeder queen in the frame. Let her
Oh yeah,
lay for 4 days. And then that way
yeah,
how old. But I'm gonna give this a shot this year. I don't know. Somebody
yeah.
said that they really work well, and it was really cheap. It was like $5 or something like that. It was really cheap.
Well, you know how I used to been doing it? I take a nice empty drum comb and I drop it right in the middle of the brood nest.
Yeah.
And the queen will, and I do that five days before it cracked. And that queen jumps on there and she lays that sucker full right away.
Is that right?
Oh yeah, yeah. 5 days you'll have 2-day old larvae in there, 2 eggs. Yeah.
And I believe you. I actually do. I actually do. I just
Mhm.
it's better than I don't know finding that one comb. It's better than hunting around because I've had to hunt before.
Yeah. So if
Or
you have an empty comb and drop it right in the center, that works great. So I've done that quite a few times already. So
yeah.
It's
I
like
don't have
even
to
when you
find
go
it.
through all the frames, and you find some. It's like sometimes it's hard to come up with 20 of them off of that frame.
It is.
Oh yeah.
It is. And
It's like,
That's why
man, there's a few there, but there's not. I don't know if I can get a whole bar here.
Yeah, if you got a nice, clean, empty comb and just drop it in the middle, 5 days that's ready, and you got it. Well, that's nice. That works out really good for me.
I just didn't
Huh.
want to. I didn't want to do that because, if she's like way over to the left or to the right, and she's working on like a comb over there,
Oh,
and then
oh,
you put it up,
that was actually in the nuke box
you
too.
drop that frame in, and it's like, well, she might not get there for two days to that
Yeah,
middle frame to start, and
yeah,
you pull it out and they're all eggs. They're not
yeah.
larvae. That's
Yeah,
the only
that
thing.
was actually in the nuke box, so it really,
Okay,
so there wasn't that much room to start with.
I gotcha.
So that,
That
yeah,
that's a big difference. Yeah, if you're doing it in a 5 framer, yeah, that makes sense
yeah.
for sure. Yeah, this one, like if you saw Bob Binney, he has like grooves cut in the side, and he slides a regular clean excluder down
Oh, sure, yeah.
they clean the grooves out, then they slide them on either side of that, and then they put their clean in, and that way they know in 4 days that
Oh, yeah.
that's it. Number one, he uses $1,800 breeder queens, but I didn't have any boxes with the grooves already in it.
Oh,
So
yeah.
this is the next best thing. I mean, so I
Yeah,
got
well,
I got two of them, so I can pull a frame out. So it's only 9 frames, and then slide one of these like right over a frame. Drop the
oh,
queen
yeah.
in a in a in a
Drop your queen in the middle.
in a middle
You can
in
have,
the middle in an like you said, an open frame with nothing in it,
yeah.
and let them roll. But we'll
You'll
see.
be right there, and the bees will go in there.
We'll see if that works.
It worked great.
He left to go find something. I don't know what he went to go look for. I thought you were going to show us something, Wayne. I thought you left to go show us something. No?
No, I just had to go to the bathroom real quick.
Oh,
No, I lost my reading glasses.
I gotcha. You're
Here they are.
Well, a bunch of
I
old guys
turned
that couldn't
I
see
turned
it.
51 yesterday. My mind's not what it once was.
well,
51 old man.
happy
That's
birthday.
years ago.
I talked to you yesterday. You didn't tell me it was your birthday. I would have wished you a happy
Yeah.
Wayne, I don't remember 51 no more, so.
You're doing
Oh,
good without the gray. I mean, you're already 51 and you still don't have the
oh,
gray.
I'm pretty gray
Are
out.
you?
Yeah.
Started losing my hair and turning gray when I turned like 39, 40.
Oh shit.
Yep, yep. My father has still has half black hair, and he's like almost 90.
Oh,
And I'm like all gray hair, and
Yeah.
shit, I'm half his age. I'm like, what the hell? How the hell did that skip?
well, hopefully you get
I think it
the
goes by
long
your
life.
mother's
Yeah,
your
it very well
your
might. Yeah.
mother's father is who determines your hair, I guess.
Well, they say that, but my mother's father had a full head of hair, so
Oh, really?
I got my dad's hairline and my grandfather's actual hair.
Mhm.
Oh.
Hair color. My
How about the mailman? What was he like?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. I don't know. Mailman was some short bald dude. I don't know.
Yeah.
Oh, that's too funny. But no, yeah, these are real tight fit. I might have to shave a little bit off of them, but the bottom is what I'm most concerned about because you gotta, if you're a little bit longer than 3/4
Oh,
of an
yeah.
inch, for your bottom board, then you
Yeah,
might have a gap and
you
things
can put a
like
cleat
that.
there.
So that's why you have to make sure that this matches like your breeder box,
Yeah.
exactly, so that there's no, but that foam reflectix should seal on the top pretty nice, so the queen can't get over. It's that, getting around the corners or underneath.
And the corners at the bottom, yeah.
Yep. That's the area you really gotta worry about.
I wonder if you could use that in that like Mike Palmer 4 next to 4 type situation, and then do like how Ian Stepler combines 2 week hives over each other. I wonder if you could combine two hives next to each other with that thing. Would the bees go side to side from and help
Well, I would think so.
versus going up?
Oh, you mean
Up through an excluder.
have two hives, like one queenless, one queen right, and then just pull the board?
No, they're both queen. They both queen right,
Okay.
but you put that in the middle so that the bees can move sideways to
Oh, absolutely.
instead of going vertically.
If they'll share a super over the top,
Yeah.
Yeah.
they'll share that side to side too. If the queens can't get to each other, that's. I'm wondering if that's why this thing is so thick. This thing is really thick, actually.
Oh, it's thick, huh?
Yeah, it's really wide. It's really I just can't figure out why it's so wide. But it's really thick. But it's thicker than a regular queen excluder, anyways. I'm wondering if that's so that the queens can't get to each other or something.
Could be.
Maybe they have different application. Like multiple applications for these things. Website didn't even tell you how to use it.
I never even saw one of those. Yeah.
Yeah, I never did either. Somebody on the that scientific beekeeping, the commercial guys, they posted the link to it, and I'm like, holy crap! I'm like, that's cool as hell, and it was cheaper than hell too, and I'm like, I'm getting one. Or well, I got.
There you go.
I got
Mhm.
And then we got a bunch of the California cages too here.
Yeah. Oh, you're more prepared than I am. Hey.
Well, I just figured that that kind of stuff that can last me years, literally. And if I ever get to the point where hey, somebody, or I got X number of queens that I can't do anything with, you know,
Yeah.
I could sell them to somebody. Put them in those California cages, and then there you go.
We had bought a bunch of those little plastic ones years ago, and I'm out of those now. So I got to get some. I got to get some stuff.
You mean the roller cages or the JZBZ
Oh,
ones?
the little
The JZBZ ones?
the candy one to put the candy in. Yeah.
Yeah.
The JBZ
Yeah,
whatever
they
you call them.
the
They got
flips
the
to the side.
yeah. I had a bunch of those. I'm out of those now too. So.
Those are those are nice to transport in those battery boxes.
Yeah.
I've never put one in a nuke before, like hung it, but I guess you could just put a stick through it and just hang it between the frames.
Yeah, I've
Right?
just done a nail or a toothpick through them to hang them in there. Yeah.
Yeah, I've never used it before on that, but yeah, that's.
Because when I sold queens, I told them you can stick a toothpick in there and put it up, just lay it on top of your frames. But told them make sure you don't poke the queen. You know,
Yeah.
don't kill your queen when you're sticking your toothpick in there. Yeah. Now what's Wayne getting?
I don't know what he's getting. Some neat contraption, I suppose, huh?
He gets more toys than anybody.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I figured I'm never going to get a incubator or anything like that. Just go ahead, let the hive do it all.
Yeah, yeah. I got one last year because last year I was having problems. The later in the year, I
Yeah,
don't. It's like they wouldn't take my cells, and then then the ones that would hatch out, they would. I don't. Do bald-faced hornets eat queens when they're on a mating flight?
Oh, I
'Cause we
would
have a
think so.
lot of bald-faced hornets that hang around that time of year.
Yeah,
We don't
yeah.
have much dragonflies, but
The, the fall is
man,
the worst time.
They were all over
yeah.
my when I was putting syrup on my colonies. They were just they were opportunistic feeding on. They weren't going in my hive or anything. They were just sucking up nectar. So they're
Oh,
after honey.
Well, they went into a couple of my mating nukes, my two-frame mating nukes.
Yeah.
I went in there and all the bees were dead. All the heads were chopped off. It was just heads and legs
oh,
everywhere, laying everywhere.
Wow.
you had a bad one then, huh?
Yeah,
Wow.
Yeah, I've seen bees laying outside like that.
Yeah, I've seen
yeah.
the yellow jackets cut my girls' heads off.
The yellow jackets do that too.
Absolutely. Yeah,
Oh yeah.
I watched it on a lid one time, and I'm just like, holy crap! She just cut that freaking bee in half.
Yeah.
And my girls just, actually, what she didn't cut the head off. She cut the abdomen in half. And
Mm-hmm.
the thing was, the abdomen was laying on one side, and the thorax was laying on the other, and my poor bee was just like, help me! And I'm just like, oh man.
Jeez. I'm gonna try and put out a lot more traps out this spring. Try and catch some queens before they even.
Oh yeah. We're gonna get some more
I didn't.
traps. Put them out in the spring. We got a
Yeah.
lot of down here.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
probably need to do that as well. I didn't put mine out until they got really
Till
big.
it was a problem.
Till it was a
Yeah.
problem, and I filled them up. Those wasp traps
Yeah.
really worked well, man.
After
Bags, they
after you did that video, I bought some and they filled them up too. I bought quite a few of them too, like
yeah,
eight or
Yeah.
10 or something like that.
yeah, they really did. They did do well. But no, Dan, I'm single, so I can spend money on me. I don't spend I don't spend on a wife or a girlfriend or kids or anything else. So I spend my money on me. I gotta enjoy it while I can because I don't know how long I'm gonna be on this earth. At the rate at
hmm
which my friends are dropping like flies,
Ooh, yeah.
I better have fun while I can. You know,
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Can't take it with you.
I can't take it with me, but it does me no good when I'm like, you know, stuck in a nursing home either. I mean, I'm just,
Mm-hmm.
what the hell,
Oh yeah.
This is what I bought. I bought two of these.
Oh. Are those the Don smokers?
Huh?
Is that a
No,
Dodon smoker?
this is an Amazon smoker. This is the
Oh,
same.
I bought a Dodon smoker last year.
This is the same smoker that I bought 5 years. My first smoker, I bought it on off Amazon. It's still working great, but I bought
Yeah.
two more, and
Uh,
I'm going to put I'm going to dedicate like one box in each of my apiaries, and it's going to have a smoker, a hive tool, and
oh.
smoker fuel because number one, I get tired of going traveling out and forgetting my damn smoker or my hive tool, like back home, and I'm just like son of a or you know smoker fuel or whatever. It's like oh man, and then I get the shit stung out of me. So I'm gonna dedicate a box. Just gonna look like all the rest of my hives. Just gonna be for my equipment. It'll stay
well,
dry and everything.
well, I got 4 hive tools.
Okay.
I went up to my bees yesterday and I looked for a hive tool. I didn't find any.
You couldn't find one.
Nope, I don't know where they are. So yeah, that's the way it is. Yeah.
The funny part is that I make those tool pouches and it works really well, and my hive tool is attached to it, but I run out without a belt, so I don't have my hive tool pouch on my side. I forget that. I'll go run out and I'm like, oh man, I don't have my freaking pouch with me, or anything. Oh man. And with my new job, I have to dedicate like the back of my truck to like all my maintenance tools and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's just a pain dragging them out and then replacing it with the beekeeping stuff. So I think I'd just rather keep beekeeping stuff out at my apiary.
Yeah.
You know, and
Yep.
that way it's just there. You know,
Mhm.
I can keep my bale in the back of my, in the back seat. That's not a big deal, but you know, with all the crap that you got to bring, just that's the kind of stuff that it's easily forgotten because you're like running out the door. Like I got a few minutes, I can run out there and go check my bees real quick, And then you get halfway there and you're like, God, damn it, I forgot the smoker or the lighter. The lighter. That's another thing I'm putting in the
Yeah.
box. A lighter.
Yeah.
You forget a lighter, and it's like, well, that doesn't do me any good. I got the smoker and the fuel. I got no way to freaking light it.
Yep. Mhm.
Wayne said he carries a propane
Little
tank.
propane tank, yeah. And then it has the little clicker, the clicker trigger that starts it up, right? So you just turn the
Yep.
gas on, click it one time, you have a flame.
That's what I use.
Otherwise, I lose lighters, but I can't lose a propane tank.
I know, but I would just forget it. I mean,
Yeah,
you're working right
Mhm.
from home, so you don't have like out apiaries or
yeah,
anything. But I
right,
always just leave it. You know, it's sitting
Mhm.
somewhere out at home yard, somewhere.
Mhm.
And
right.
I did use a striker and a propane tank before, but you know, at home it's fine because I just walk back to the garage, get it, and light it, and it's not a big deal. But when I head out to the farm and now I've got a second apiary, and I'm like, I ain't screwing around. I'm getting, two smokers,
Mhm.
3 bags of fuel, so I have 3 smokers, 3 lighters, 3 everything. Hive
Yeah.
tool,
Yeah,
hive tool at every one, just in case. I got my favorite hive tool, but it but that hook, half hook, and pry bar hive tool, that actually works pretty good.
Mhm.
you like that?
It looked really big. Because I was wondering about that
Yeah,
too. It looked really
Yeah.
big and everything, but I was like, this thing fits in, and I mean, and it's so thick. There's no bend. It just jerks it right up. I don't care how the bees propolize
Oh,
it.
yeah. Those look like nice ones because I know when the frame is in there tight and you got that hook in there, you're crunching wood like mad.
Yeah,
You know.
and if
Yeah.
and if you just have the one with the blade and then the hook on the back, and it doesn't have the pry bar, when the bees propolize everything like your supers, it's nice to be able to hit that that
Oh
that that bend with the palm of your hand. You can't do that with the hook on it,
nope.
because otherwise,
Nope.
because otherwise you're gonna freaking hurt your hand. You're not gonna do anything. But with that little bend, you hit that. It's just like a hammer, and you can get that in and pop your hive a lot easier. You know.
Yeah.
right.
I mean, I've got all new equipment and stuff, so my hives kind of fit real tight. It's not like the old stuff where you're gonna find a crack somewhere.
There's a gap somewhere.
There's a
Yeah,
gap somewhere in it. But yeah, mine are. I sit there and I'm like, it looks like freaking one whole freaking box. All my supers. I'm like, how the hell do I get these things apart? I'm like, I don't want to damage my wood.
Hmm.
Those bees can really freaking glue the shit out of that. Some of
oh
my
yeah,
some of my
yeah.
some of my bees, and I don't know what it is, but some of them can propolize like, I mean, way worse than the other ones. I heard that those Caucasian bees. I heard that
Yeah, I guess they're real bad.
I guess they really propolize the hell out of stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, like thick, thick, thick stuff. I've never worked with Caucasians before. Have either of you?
No.
No,
Nope.
I don't even know if I could recognize one.
just a different carny, isn't it?
Is it? Is that what it is?
Yeah, same with a carnica too. A carnica is just a carny too. It's just from a different
Because Bob Bingham said
area.
he was moving from Italians more to Carniolans, and then now Carniolans over to
Caucasians,
Caucasians.
yeah.
And I
Yeah.
didn't understand the reasoning behind, you know, why he was, moving more towards the Caucasians.
Well, just for the propolis, he wants that propolis in his hives. He
Is
wants
that
more of it.
is that what he said? Is it for
Yeah, because it's just better for the bees. Yeah, I had to get some pop.
Yeah, no, somebody told me to go get Russian bees, and all I heard about Russian bees is it's like the pit bulls of
Oh,
honeybees, you know?
I have one guy here that had Russian bees.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was on the other side of the house and they were still butting me. Yeah, yeah. He was working his hive and I was on the other side of the house. The bees were on the other side of the house, and they come up and
Jeez.
butted you.
Oh,
Yeah,
they were sitting there banging off you?
yeah. He says, I would never want those.
Okay.
Most of the time, I'm in shorts and t-shirt.
Well, I
I'm
guess
not.
that's like the people that are, yeah, I can understand that because that's like the people that say, well, I got pit bulls and they're the sweetest things in the world, and I'm like, well, okay, good, you know.
Yeah, yeah. He was sort of trying to get bees to live through winter without treating them. So they don't live either. So yeah,
They because yeah, they're supposed to be mite hardy, mite resistant.
they hurt either. But the winter's too long up here.
So they die. They die.
Yeah, he lost his bees too.
He did. Okay.
Yeah.
I think that guy up in Superior, he runs a lot of Russians. I guess he's had pretty good success with it. I just have heard that they're a little bit more aggressive, than
Yeah.
a Carniolan would be. I mean, I like Carniolans because generally they're not jittery on the frame.
I've had very gentle bees the last few years. So yeah,
But
actually the worst bees I had were the ones I got from Kelly. Got a couple of virgins from him, and they were a lot feistier than my regular ones.
well, yeah, that and again those Minnesota hygienics, and they were Carniolan Minnesota hygienic, but honestly the bee was yellow, so I don't know.
Yeah.
Or the queen, so I don't know if she was more Italian than Carney, and that's why,
Oh sure.
you know, um, that's why they were more aggressive. That was the hot hive, that was that,
Yeah. Yeah.
and I have no idea what the deal was. Usually my Carniolans are just, I'm serious, they're like the gentlest bees. They just kind of walk around a little bit, and even 3 frames of bees in the spring will blow up real quick. They'll catch
Mhm.
on,
Yeah.
but they're really prolific once they start getting rolling in the springtime. That's what I really liked about them. Because you guys know me, man. I don't like getting stung. And Dan has to have nice bees because he walks around in shorts.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the only way to beekeep.
That's the
Like
only way.
it's so hot in that veil and
I
jacket.
I can never
Yeah.
keep that veil on. I said, Jesus Christ, I'm sweating my eyes, and I said, I got to take it off, or else I can't see.
Well, usually my
So
glass,
Yeah, can't see.
glasses are
Too
going, my
hot.
glasses are going down, sliding down my nose. That's what usually
yeah,
happens because it's so
yeah,
sweaty.
yeah. So that's why I put the handkerchief around my forehead now, and just go out there in my shirt.
I'm just surprised, honestly, because the bees really like that beard. That you don't wear a veil. They don't get caught in your beard. They don't go after it.
Well, if they do get in there, they can't get to your skin.
Oh,
So
so you just bring them in the house?
yeah, he's sitting there. I'll have to search for him. They'll be trying to get in there, but they don't get very far.
You bring them in the house and let them release them to your wife
Yeah,
in the house?
got a cold out.
Jeez, that would drive me crazy. I can't stand that. Where they get, they sit there and they get caught in my gloves. They do that all the time, right in the cuffs. They sit there, and they're trying to sting the hell out of whatever's there.
Yeah, that's why I don't bother with that.
I
The only
really,
time I ever got stung is if they get between the clothes. They get under your clothes, well, then they get trapped, and then they sting.
then they sting. Yeah, I wore this spring. These these gloves you
Black
buy for pack of 10 for $3 or whatever the hell they are. Bees do not like these.
clothes. Yeah.
I'm dead serious. They go right for them. I mean, I was watching the bees today, and they went right from these gloves, and I took the gloves off, and they didn't touch me after that.
Hmm.
And I'm just like, seriously, you
Yeah.
know?
Well, I'll tell you a story. My brother-in-law, by his bees, his brother comes over. He's dressed in black. Okay, we're working the bees, and he's carrying this little rat dog, like he's Paris Hilton, you know. And we're in the bees working. He's the one stung. He's running around.
Like Paris Hilton.
Yeah, the little rat dog. Really, all dressed in black, carrying a rat dog.
Did he get the crap stung out of him?
Yeah, well, they sting the dog and everything else. Yeah.
Oh man.
Oh,
Stingers out of the dog and all that kind of stuff. Oh yeah,
And that,
we're into bees and we're not getting stung at all. So
well, we were
how,
talking.
how you go into it? You smell like a smelly dog, an animal, and dressed in black. You're gonna get
I was
stung.
serious. I wear certain gloves, and the bees will go right after your hands and try to get in the cuffs, and you take them off, and then the bees don't. They might
Yeah,
land on you a little bit, but they don't really screw with you like near as much as when you're wearing those gloves. And
yeah,
and uh, and then you always hear these. I wear glasses, and sometimes I get stung like right here, and I always wonder if they like the glasses. And
well, they get up there. Yeah, they get caught.
everybody
Yeah.
always says, don't wear sunglasses with the bees. And then you watch a guy like Ian Stepler, who's around 1,500 hives every day, and he wears sunglasses 24 hours a day.
Yeah.
Never.
Well,
Huh?
he's a young guy yet, and he can see through sunglasses. I can't see through
Oh yeah,
them.
no, I can't either. I stopped wearing sunglasses. But what I'm getting at is the bees don't seem to mind his
Yeah.
sunglasses. And I'm just wondering if that was a fallacy. You know, I just know that when they get in here, they might not like maybe they're going for my I don't know, but it's like almost again like they get trapped and then they go between
Oh
your
yeah.
frame and
Yeah.
your thing and then they sting you right in the temple. Oh man.
Mm.
oh shit.
Oh man, does that hurt? That really hurts. My hand it took probably the better part of yesterday before my swelling went down on my finger, on the fat part of my finger, the first sting of the year.
Oh.
But the swelling did go down finally. My knuckles swelled up a bit, but a couple more stings and I'll be good for the year where I won't swell up.
Yeah.
But I always try every year. You got to build up that resistance, I
Well,
guess.
you got to keep on getting your stings in during the wintertime. You got to go in the hive.
Yep, yep. I got to build that resistance up. Otherwise, I'm gonna, you know,
Yeah.
walk out like a boxer.
Hmm.
Get hands puffed out. You know, when I was working commercial, that was horrible.
Yeah.
Oh man. Well, it's good to hear that you guys are having good success with the wintering. That's cool. That's
Well, how did you do, Kevin? I didn't really
I got
catch
I had half or a little less
half.
than half survive,
Okay.
which is awful for me. So, like I said,
Well, it's not April yet, so I'm not counting 20 yet.
and I'm not counting 20 yet, and
yeah.
Yeah.
I'm already down to half, so that's still
Yeah.
not real good, but it is what it is, I guess. I took those 2 months off. I shouldn't have taken those 2 months off.
Yeah. You figured I just didn't get enough food there?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep, I didn't get enough food on them. Like October wasn't so bad because it was pretty cold and I think they were hunkered down. But when November hit and it got really, really warm, I think
Yeah.
there was nothing out there for them. So I think they were burning through it. And if I'd have just gotten them even if I just put open feed out so that they
What?
consume that rather than what their stores were, they'd have been a lot better off,
Yeah.
you know. But
Yeah.
and again, in some of the hives, I was like, I fed them, and I'm just like, well, they're still not. And I'm just like, well, they've had enough. That's the way I kind of felt, rather than
Hmm.
saying, you know what, I can't lift this hive anymore. Now they're good. I need to get out of that mindset where, yeah, I'm just putting 2 gallons on them, or that's it, or 3 gallons, or whatever the hell it is.
Do you weigh your hives in the fall, Dan?
I didn't. I
So
took the
how do
top
you set up for winter? Do
I
you?
took off the top box and I thought, gee, these are heavy, you know. And I figured that was good, heavy. What I but otherwise I usually try to get it two brood, and I like to have the top one full, hopefully full and capped, on top of it.
Yeah.
I had one.
And you do that mostly with the with the natural flows, the
Yeah,
fall
this
flows.
last year it did pretty good. Yeah,
So you don't feed your bees in the fall.
I feed
They're
in the
mostly.
fall because what was it the year before? Holy crap! Got in my hives and they were just bone dry. I bought 11 5-gallon pails of syrup at that time.
You bought 11 five.
Just I bought 11 5-gallon pails of syrup, and I put that on them for one year. So yeah, sometimes you have to. You didn't have no fall flow. They were empty.
Yeah.
And I thought that's a lot
Yeah,
of
we
syrup.
don't get a fall flow here.
I definitely not. I know I don't get a fall full. I get pollen, good pollen coming in,
Yeah,
Oh yeah, real good pollen last year.
but very, very, very little flow. So I know I have to feed from August through the end of September. I got no choice.
well, your
Yeah.
soils down there are different than ours up here, though, ain't they? You got more sand down there.
We got sand. Yeah.
You got sand. Ours is more clay up here.
Okay.
We don't dry out so quick.
Yeah. Yeah. That
That makes
probably has a lot to do with it.
yeah, that makes a big difference.
Yeah, we're sand here too.
Yeah,
I can't remember. September was pretty dry month. I think this year, wasn't it?
yeah, because we're not that far apart really, but it's just the soil types.
Yep. I was thinking that Rib Lake was sandy because Hayward is sand.
Uh, no, that's you get up in the sand country. That's where the loggers go. Yeah, that's sand country up there. Yeah, in my area, you go to, a lot of it. You go down deep enough, you can get gravel around here. But the top layers, on
It's
our
all
farm,
clay
it's, hard pan clay. Yeah,
ish.
after the topsoil, it was hard pan clay.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of clay. I actually
No.
at the farm, surprisingly, that is clay out there. And I know that it's clay because I had to dig those damn holes for the posts for my mating nukes,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
they kept falling over when it got wet.
Hmm.
I couldn't peg it would get wet, and they just kind of like lean over. I'm like, God, dang it!
Yeah,
And until it finally it would dry out, and then it would pack around. But man, that was brutal. But um, certain areas are very very sandy. But my farmer, once he cuts his fields, that's it. It's not like the trees are blooming or anything.
oh
Once he
yeah,
cuts his fall fields, well, my bees don't have anything coming in,
yeah,
and there's no goldenrod anywhere near me. You know, so the
yeah.
farmer cuts their second cut of hay, or maybe third, or whatever it is.
Big crop around here is goldenrod. Yeah,
There
there's a
ain't
lot of.
there ain't nothing else for my bees to feed on. I have to. Now they get pollen from somewhere, and I ain't figured that out yet. But they're not bringing in any nectar. After August, generally August 1st.
Yeah, same with mine. So I gotta feed them up too.
because I still wanted to build a brood nest, so I don't want to like just feed them to one and have them close up all the brood nest,
Mhm.
and then have the queen have nowhere to lay.
Yeah.
And that's where I think maybe sometimes I get the mistake because I left it at time when I should be paying more attention to filling up after the brood nest is, you know, hatched out and
Yeah.
backfilling that area too, but I didn't backfill it, This year definitely it's going to be different because I'm not taking 2 months off. If I take a weekend here and a weekend there, that's all I'm doing.
Yeah.
I'm still, I talked to quite a few people. There's a guy down, where was that? Sussex, Wisconsin? Is that where that guy was? He's like a hobby beekeeper, but he's kind of like a more of a sideliner. He's got a couple hundred hives or a couple hundred hives or whatever. But he had 100% success getting them through winter.
Yeah.
And he was feeding pollen, and right after he started feeding pollen right after the weather broke on the
Mhm.
patties, and right now he's putting syrup on already in frame
Yeah.
feeders inside, and I'm like, holy crap, seriously? But that's only, what is he, an hour and a half south of me? That's it.
That
You know,
makes a big difference, though.
it does. His winter is obviously a lot lighter than mine, but it still got
Mhm.
cold down there. I know it did.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's still all of March left, so I don't know.
But he did wrap his
Feeding
he
syrup yet.
he wrapped he I think he hived them in doubles. He wrapped them all in reflectix, but the top reflectix is weird because it kind of went like four ways, on top, and then he put his lid over the top of that. That's how he did it, and they were all individually at 100, couple hundred hives or whatever, but he had 100% success on all of his hives. I just found that just absolutely remarkable, and he was pulling them up, and they're all like 9 frames of bees or whatever. I'm just like, holy
Mhm.
crap! Seriously, well done. I mean, honestly, I was kind of jealous. I'm not gonna
Yeah.
lie, I'm like, damn, he's doing something right.
Yeah. It all depends on if you take your. Like, I should have took a couple losses, last fall instead of trying to combine it.
Yep.
I should have just put one out, and kept them in one box, stuff like that. A few things like that, it makes a big difference too. It just wasn't big enough cluster for that big of a area, to keep it.
Sure. Yeah, that was another thing I gotta pay more attention to, like December. December rolled around. I looked at a few of my hives, and I'm like, I got 10 frame box with like 2.5 frames of bees.
Hmm.
Holy crap! How did that happen? Well, I was gone for that 2 months, so I didn't see what was going on. Now what
Yeah.
do I do? With those, that's what I'm
Well, if you
trying
were
to.
gone, they could have swarmed and everything too on top of it.
Absolutely, they might have swarmed, and got a late start. I don't even know if there's a queen. I didn't know. I don't even still don't even know if there's a queen in there.
Yeah.
I put those on top of those double screen boards, just trying to save them. One died, one made it, but I still don't know if that one has a queen. I don't know.
Yeah.
You know?
Or if the queen's any good, so.
Exactly, exactly. Yeah, I didn't know if they swarmed or absconded. I left in at the end of September, and there was 8 frames of bees. I came back and there's two. What the
Yeah.
hell? But yet there was 9 frames of solid honey.
Yeah.
Jeez.
So you sit there and you go, they filled up obviously all the bee. They had. Well, what the hell happened?
Yeah. Well, they decided they needed to find a new home for the queen to lay. That's probably that. Yeah.
So there was enough bees in there to sock away all that honey. You know.
Yeah.
So what did they? What? Why did they decide that? Okay, we got to go now.
Mm-hmm.
Was it that warm weather, and they were like, okay, now it's warm, we got to get out of here because we don't want
Yeah.
to suck up all this honey. Well, so we're gonna sacrifice some of the hive
Yeah.
and get the hell out of here. When I figure out the bees, I'll be yeah.
Look out.
The next day I'm gonna have a heart attack and die because
Yeah. That's about it. Yeah.
because that's my
Yeah.
luck.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, anyways, anything else you guys want to talk about?
I guess not.
I didn't even look at the Facebook page. Anybody see if anybody was having problems?
No, I haven't
Oh,
seen it either.
I didn't see anything on there.
Okay. Yeah,
I'm gonna try having an out yard this year, and I'm gonna have more production hives this year,
that's what I was
and then
asking you.
still,
I was asking you that earlier because you had planned on having all these because that's why you bought those boxes. You were planning on having a
yeah,
production yard. So how many hives are you gonna like dedicate to production, and then
12,
how is that gonna affect your
maybe 14.
stingrays?
Well, last year I had 6 colonies, and I made 2 of them production, and then the other 4 were just brood factories
Okay.
for making queens. But this year I'm gonna have 12. If I keep what's alive right now, I can have 12 in a out yard somewhere, and then maybe 2 here at my house, and then just use the rest for production colonies. Because I have 15 in my 6. I have 15 alive, and then I have 4 of the 4 framers alive, so I have 19 to work with right now. I mean, March isn't over with, like Dan said.
Right.
Yeah.
No,
But I'd like to have 12 production colonies, and then
how many did you sacrifice to make your cell builder last year? I mean, did you sacrifice
my bees
just one
uh,
colony for a
uh,
cell builder?
from all 6. I used bees from all 6 hives for my cell builder.
Okay.
So
Oh, even from your production hives, huh?
yeah, well, they needed to be split down anyhow by that time.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
They needed to be split
But
anyhow.
even with just those 4 hives, you still were able to have bees for all your mating nukes and everything.
Yeah, they're they're booming.
Damn.
And like I said, I did smaller batches too. Like I tried for, what was it, like around 10 cells. But
Right.
sometimes I get 5 or 7 or 8 or
That's a
so. It was a
that's a smart way to do it because you gotta, like I said,
yeah,
doing that 30 cells. I'm like, and what do you do?
yeah,
You don't have the
yeah. That's
you don't have
tough
the
then.
bees.
Yeah,
Yeah, you don't have the bees
yeah.
to make mating nukes and everything at night.
No, no.
That is the smartest way to do it, isn't it?
But I mean, like Dan was saying that he's going to have bees exploding right away. But if they're making drone cells, by rights, he should be able to make a cell starter with them bees that are exploding, and
That's true.
Yeah.
or start making.
Yeah, you're right. They're not gonna swarm without drones, are they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you should be able to get them split before they're gonna. I
Yeah.
mean, you'd have to watch them real
How
close,
much
but
May turns out to be.
yeah,
If I'm gonna be buying queens or just using. I'm thinking I'm gonna use 3 different queens this year. One, one I got. It survived. I think this is the 4th winter now.
Nice.
So,
Is that
and
one of
that's
your
the
homegrown?
queen that
Is that a
never.
homegrown?
I've finally found queen cells in that hive this last year.
Is that a homegrown queen?
It was a a queen that's never swarmed and kept on, just keep on going, and survived all these winters. And I think I got to use her finally.
yeah.
Is that a homegrown queen, or is
No, it ain't. I trapped a bunch of bees out of a tree,
Yeah.
and I bought a couple queens. One made it, one didn't. And this one, it just seems like it keeps on going and going, and don't want to swarm. So I figure that's probably one that I should use.
I'm
See
surprised.
see if anything comes on it.
I'm surprised you haven't grafted off of it before.
Well, it's their second year. She was a good honey producer,
Yeah.
and the third year, well, the bear rolled her hive, took half of her hive out. And when me and my friend were out there picking up the hive, he says, "Well, there's the queen crawling back in the box." So she survived that. Then last year, she dwindled down after that to a pretty small hive, and I just used her for brood for my mating nukes and stuff.
Yeah.
So and she's still kicking, and she made queen cells. I caged her, took out a couple of queen cells, and made a one little frame of nuke out of it. I do have one of those sitting in the closet right now. It was a late one. Late in the fall, she did that. But she made a nice little nest in the fall after I released her again. Caged her, kept her in the hive, took the frame with the queen cell out, and mated a couple of queens. And then when I released her again, she made a nice fall nest, for winter, and it seemed to be doing pretty good yet. If she makes it, then I'll use her. But it's kind of weird the way some queens behave, and some, that one's totally different than anything else I had.
Man, I haven't had a single August uh, mated queen make it yet.
Yeah,
Everything's swarmed. I've tried to create swarm cells and try to get them into winter and through winter. Not one.
yeah,
You know,
yeah.
I've had that happen 2 or 3 times now, and I have yet to get it through. And the only time I'll do it from now on is if I decide to store my colonies in like my little garden tool shed. I'll put some nukes in
Yeah.
there so that it doesn't get so stays dark, but it doesn't get like 100 below 0 in there either.
Oh yeah. Yeah, right in that door there. There's a closet back there, and there's a couple little nuke boxes in there. With bees.
Nice.
Yeah.
You have a closet that opens from the outside of the house or something?
No, it's on the outside wall. It stays cold in there. When it gets to like 44, it stays like 45 degrees or so.
Okay.
We just keep the door shut. We don't really use it. It's falling apart plaster, in there. So it's coming up this summer, so I'm going to lose my indoor bee storage. So
Well, I just figure I'm like, yeah, my lawnmower is too big now to park in my shed anymore, so I'm
your
like,
shed is not big enough for your lawnmower. That's
right.
because you're full of bee stuff. Yeah.
Well, no, I mean, I have one of those little tool, garden sheds, one of those little garden
Oh
things,
yeah.
that you drive you can drive your little riding, or you can store your push-in mowers in there, or rakes and
Yeah.
stuff. Well, now
Well,
I have this zero turn and it doesn't fit in there, so I'm like, I could put a couple hives in there, nukes, so that if I do some late, like August splits, that's where I'd put them, I think.
Yeah.
Just because I don't think it gets near as cold in there, because it's all locked up and for the winter. The only thing I
Yeah.
worry about is mice. The mice love that shed, you know.
Yeah.
But I don't open it up all winter long, and there's no light that gets in it. It's completely dark, so there's no holes that there'd be ventilation.
Oh shit!
What's that?
You just did he just drop the hive off of his bed on the floor?
Are you serious?
Oh, here we go.
Was he
that's
just?
okay.
That could have been a disaster.
This is the dead one.
Oh, I was like, he was sitting there. He goes, oh, he just dropped the hive, and I'm like, what?
No, no, this is the dead one.
Oh, okay.
One in there that died. I got 2 living in there yet, but screened. I got a whole vent hole.
Is that
I wanted to get that out of there anyway.
that is a wooden hive? It's not a corrugated.
Huh?
Is that a wooden hive?
Oh yeah, that's just a little nuke box that I made.
Well, I know it's a nuke box. Is it wooden?
Yeah, it's wood. Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Why wouldn't it be wood?
Well, the corrugated ones, the easy nukes, those are corrugated.
All those cardboard things?
Well, yeah,
No.
they're corrugated plastic or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was thinking maybe that one might work. You know, I could put those in. Those are nice and light, and I can close up and it's still got vent holes. You know, on it.
Yeah. Man.
Did they eat all their food stores there, Dan?
No, this one I think was just too small. There's like
Oh,
kittens there, and it couldn't eat the sugar because they couldn't get it wet enough.
yeah, they don't
You know,
create enough condensation to.
Condensation, yeah.
well, they ate
Yep.
some of it, but there's hardly any bees in here.
Yeah, I suppose you didn't want to like open it up in your closet and see if they're alive.
Yeah, I got to take
You know,
that. I wanted to get it out of there anyway.
coming out of the house, the wife wouldn't be
They
too
ate
happy.
some sugar. I don't know if you can see
Yeah,
that.
I can see
You
it.
can see how much
Oh
they ate.
yeah.
They did eat, but the patch of bees is only about 6 inches diameter between 2 frames. That much.
Yeah.
Not enough bees in there to do anything.
Maybe you have to give them a jar of water over the top of them.
It's been sitting in there since it died, so it's kind of moldy and shit. It's, how they get after they're dead. They
They
just
stink.
absorb water, it's moisture.
Yep.
They stink. Yeah, I suppose
Yeah.
you can't even like pick the lid up and spray them because if they have a little hole, they're gonna come flying out of there, aren't they?
Oh, I take the lid off the other 2 and they don't come out.
Oh,
But
they don't.
no.
Oh, is that what you do? You give them a little spray of water every now and then?
Yeah, that's all the bees are
Oh
worth.
yeah. Yeah.
Just not enough to do anything. Yeah, it stinks, don't it, cat?
The things we try to get through winter. Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, you always have a couple of those little ones. That was the one of those late falls queen cells you take out of the
I'm
hive.
gonna be honest with you. I'll bet you that one that's alive for me isn't much bigger than that.
Oh yeah,
That one that's above
it got through the cold
one,
spell.
the one that's above the
Oh
screen,
yeah,
the double screen
Double
board.
screen board?
Yeah, I'll bet you it's not much bigger than that. You know, I mean, I'm sure a lot of your bees are laying down a floor of your hive right now, but
hmm
uh, you know, if you add those all together, that's probably how big mine are. They're just like
yeah,
two frames of bees, maybe. You know, that it's kind of like that. That's all that's left. I'm just like, I give it like a 20% shot to make it
yeah.
through March. You know, if they make it through that, they might have a, you know, what the hell?
Oh yeah.
I've had a frame and a half of bees make it before. You know, in a colony.
Well, you put pollen patties on, maybe they'll
Yeah.
raise a small patch of.
It was that last year I had a colony, and it was like three three frames, 2.5 frames or 3 frames, but they were up in my like I left the honey super on. They were all in the honey super, so these were half size frames.
Yeah.
You know, the mediums, and there was just 3 frames, and that's all. And I couldn't get them down into the deep because they're half size frames, and I didn't want to shake them down because it's not
Yeah.
enough. I can't shake them into a big box, you know. So I was sitting, what am I gonna do? I just let them go, and by the end of June, into July, they had gotten big enough where they started producing me honey. You know, I pulled the queen, you know, let them go down, and all of a sudden I was able to put a
hmm
super on, and I was amazed at how they rebounded, absolutely
Yeah.
amazed. But it took them forever to get there. I think I might have slipped a frame of brood just to help them out, you know, in there.
Yeah.
But she came back and made me some honey, you know, shocked the hell out of me. But I did get, like I said, just those three frames of bees. Somehow they managed to make it through winter. I have no idea how.
Yeah.
You know,
I
it
suppose
was
if they're in contact with the honey, it works. You know.
true,
Yeah.
true, yeah. And last year we didn't have near the cold snap like we had this year.
Yeah.
You know, that 2 weeks. Because I looked at my graphs on my broodminder. February
Yeah.
February 7th was when it went really down. In February, like 21st, it started climbing above zero. You know,
Hmm.
for the outside temperature. That's a long time to be down there, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a long time to be down there. And I don't think we had anywhere close to that the year before. We might have had a week. That was about it. You know, or 5 days of cold. But it wasn't just 2 weeks. It just
Yeah, wasn't it like 2.5 weeks?
yeah, it was a long time.
Yeah.
But see, it was like it was hovering around 5 or like 10, 10
Hmm.
degrees to zero for like half a week before it dropped down to that 17 below and then 20 below and then it would get up, during the day it would get up, climb up to zero or 5 below or something. Then it would drop back down, but you could kind of see that.
Yeah.
But it was really funny. That broodminder is so telling. A couple weeks ago, or well, actually, it was last week. I was playing fetch with my dog, and I threw the bumper up, and it went up, and it landed on. It hit the top of the hive, went bam. Just hit the
Oh shoot.
just hit the top of the boom. It hit the top. I'm like, oops. I play fetch with him every night, but this one was later. But there was a spike on at 6 o'clock p.m. on that
It
day.
riled the bees up and they
It riled them up, and they got real warm, and the spike went up to like 80 degrees.
Oh
I don't know
yeah.
how they got that riled up when I hit that hive like that, but that was just, I was like, you gotta be kidding me. I go,
Yeah.
I know
yeah.
it told me the exact time that it hit the hive. I'm like, wow, that's pretty cool, man.
See.
But I can tell exactly when I like pull the lids, like when I put pollen patties on or sugar bricks last week
Oh yeah.
on my hive.
Drop temperature.
You can see the temperature raised up where the bees just they started doing their thing or whatever, getting all riled up, and then it calms down and then it drops back down again. It takes them a while to do that, but you can see exactly when that happens. It's pretty
Yeah.
So
cool.
now you're gonna have to keep that pollen patty on all now until the real stuff happens, right?
Yeah, but they
You
won't.
you can't give them a break.
It's not like they're gonna like just destroy it. I don't have
Yeah.
massive colonies, where they're just gonna run out.
Oh.
My pollen, they'll just munch on it. You know, it'll take
Yeah.
them a long time. Because I'll be honest with you, even a sugar brick takes
Mhm.
some of the colonies take a long time to chew through that sugar brick. You know.
Yeah. It's funny after that fall we had with November and December being warm and the bees using more of the honey. They really didn't eat much of the sugar.
Yeah.
Like I thought I was really worried. Like, oh, I got to get sugar on. I got to get sugar on. And so then I went out on a nice day and put sugar on, and a lot of them really didn't even eat it.
Mine were all gone except for the one hive that when I pulled that off, that double screen board finally off, there was the sugar brick was still there. Then they had just started getting into it, and I'm like, phew, I'm like, oh, that's cool,
Yeah,
you know.
yeah,
So I gave
Yeah.
them another sugar brick and then two skinny pollen patties in there, but they're not gonna like sit there and just to borrow that pollen. Not now. It's too early. I don't know. I just think they're gonna munch on it because I pulled that one off after I put it on. I was like, let me see if they're on there. They were all over that pollen patty. You know,
yeah.
but I was like, holy crap, they are gonna eat it, so they are eating it.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, a
Well,
couple of mine are eating it pretty good, but for the majority of it, they.
Kevin, I did check that one hive that I lost. It had a small patch of brood in there,
Oh, is that right?
an inch or two in diameter.
Okay.
It was capped brood already. So they did start making brood already and had that cold spell hit.
A little bit of brood. Most of mine, when I brushed everything off, there was zero.
Yeah.
The one colony, it actually died. I saw my brood minder when it started dropping in temp. I watched that go down, and it said February 7th it started going down when the temperatures dropped down, and then it just stayed down. And so I knew that it died like right when that cold weather hit. It like died right like the start of it, you know.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I pulled them out and I brushed all my bees off just so I could. I haven't seen one ounce of brood on any of mine. But that one that you said that died, are you sure that it died now or not? Like
Oh, yeah, it died in the cold spell.
it died during the cold
It
spell?
was still going before the cold spell, yeah. But it died actually of starvation
Sure.
because I had I had combined the one on top, and I put my sugar on top of that. But that one cluster stayed on the bottom box, and they didn't get anything there.
Okay.
That's where I made the mistake. I should have just shook that one out in front of it. Kept it in a single box.
Yeah, we always try to save every bee we can, don't we?
Yeah.
Yeah, every queen you can. Yeah,
Yep.
Yeah.
Trying to
that's
save
right.
every bee and every queen we can. There ain't no
Yeah.
bullshit. No bullshit about that. Maybe I need to get out of that mindset. I don't know what it is, but
Yeah. Take your losses. Decide which ones they're going to make it, and make your
yeah, I had one
choice.
shook swarm hive that made it. One shook swarm hive that didn't make it.
Yeah.
The shook swarm. I dumped the shook swarm into the one
Yeah.
that I dumped it into. I remember after I dumped it in there, I remember looking where the hive used to be because it was in the same yard. All the bees went back.
They all went back, huh?
They all went
Yeah.
back to the original spot. They probably like went into another hive over. All the bee
Yeah.
hunters went back over there, and there wasn't any nurse bees because they'd been queenless for quite some time. So I don't think
Hmm.
that helped them as much as you know
No.
if I had dumped them in another yard.
Right.
They wouldn't have gone back.
Yeah.
You know. So this
I suppose, guys, dinner's just about done, she says, so
okay, man.
let me
Okay.
know the name of your YouTube channel, Dan, so I can subscribe when you get her going.
Oh, we'll
All
see if
right,
it.
guys.
Take it easy,
Okay.
buddy.
Okay.
Yep.
Bye bye.
Whoa, you just got really big.
Yeah.
Yep. So, all right. I guess we'll do this again maybe in a few weeks. I was hoping more guys would do it bored on a Sunday, but I guess not.
I don't know. Some days, maybe an evening sometime. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. It's. I was thinking Sunday afternoon and things got busy around here,
Yeah.
outside. But maybe Sunday family time. I guess
Yeah.
we'll have to do it on Saturday or Friday nights or something like that.
Yeah. Friday night. Well, Friday night. How many have kids in sports yet?
Yeah,
That's
that's
the
true.
thing you have to think about too.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
Okay.
Maybe weekday nights or something like that would be better. All right, Dano.
It worked out pretty good. Yeah. Okay.
All right, you take
See.
it
See
easy.
us.
All right, we'll see you.
All
Bye.
right.